Hello, I am Billy Bobsack, and I am joined by the Lord Otter,
Yeehaw.
Frederick Gumont.
Yeah, that's talent. That guy singing in the intro, amazing.
That takes skill.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love that song too. Like
Umbrella
Ennio Morricone from the Spaghetti Westerns.
I had Frequency clip that for me a while back. I forgot to download it, put it on the brand. But we're also joined by you, Frederick, and Umbrella Cat.
Hello.
And
Those
she's
were some
working on
singing chops.
her French, what was it, baguette smoking cat from last stream.
Man,
Correct.
Yes.
Frederick is working on his red tail.
Yeah, so this is Rattel page 4. I've inked pages 1, 2, and 3 up to this date. So it's making progress.
Eventually, you'll have your campaign set up in a couple of months.
Yes, the website is almost done. Like I just need to add a couple of images and text. Like it's probably gonna be online this week.
the honey badger won't be stopped.
Nothing can stop me. Like my brakes on my car went out the other day, and now nothing can stop me. Literally.
No talent. Alrighty. You know what? We're gonna start this off hot and heavy with the
pens.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, fun. Oh, I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Oh, I gotta go on our chat. Oh shit, I got it.
So I guess I should ask you guys, what is your all's opinion of 5th edition D&D's artwork at the moment? How much of it have you seen, and what are your all's thoughts on it?
I haven't seen anything. I don't think I can voice my opinion until you share some.
5e overall, the art I really don't fucking like in general. The 5e cover, player's handbook cover, actually, it wasn't bad, but it, you know,
it's there's kind of a style change with each new edition. It's like the older editions will kind of go from that sort of like sketched hand-drawn style to something that's a bit more kind of like painterly in the sense of like a lot of like fantasy pulps. Then over time it went from like comic book style with 3rd edition, and 5th edition we get this.
Yeah, this is the 6th edition like player's handbook cover, and you'll notice something. This sword is broken. It's not even lined up at all.
It's got a guard just on one side.
Nope, there is. It's right there. You can.
There is a guard on the other side. It's just you can barely see it.
Okay.
You see how it's not lined up? The sword's actually not lined up with the handle.
Yeah. The hands are not. Like one hand is like over and the other's under. So okay.
And this one actually should be more at an angle instead. It's like you're seeing like the full flat of the front blade.
Yeah.
This fucking thing is messed up. All the hair looks like shit.
I'm just going to start asking this from here on out, because we know Wizards of the Coast's stance on AI art and publishing AI art in the commercial space. How much are you willing to bet that they are pumping their own prior artwork into some sort of like AI model to generate more pictures like this?
I don't know. I feel like this one was drawn and then AI and enhanced. Who's doing it? The artist for like I said, the 5th edition. This is the same artist. Find me the 5e player's handbook one.
It kind of looks like a digital painting in a lot of spots. Obviously, AI can do that as well.
Yeah, but what's going on here?
Yeah, that's some weird stuff.
I mean, I thought it was definitely digital artwork.
But no, this one, the artist does do digital.
It could be AI and enhanced with digital, like retouched AI.
Could be. They put the fucking main enemy down here. These two are looking at you. This one bitch is looking off to nowhere.
Yeah, and for reference, this is the base 5e player's handbook, which I'd still argue is not the best by any stretch, but it does look better than the alternative.
I just missed second edition.
Yeah, well, I would argue there is no better time than the present to start looking for alternatives, whether that's older editions of D&D or OSR rule sets that are being released at the moment. Yeah, now as we're speaking, I'm actually in the process of I'm waiting for the printed versions of the first edition of D&D to come in through the mail.
Ooh,
So I'm
nice.
actually really looking forward to that.
I have a
Heard the
collect.
beat around the world from the SJWs. Said no.
Yeah.
You can actually make a solid argument that with first and second edition that any DM should at least have a copy of it on their shelves, just because there are a lot of good DM resources in them, a lot of good tables, a lot of good advice.
Oh, the poor cat. He's Justin Trudeauing.
Ooh,
Frederick.
color. Well, this is gray, so
I see we're already banned in Canada.
that's not hard to do. Like, be on the news, and you're like, the news is banned in Canada. You knew that, right?
Well, I know it now.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have news from elsewhere on your feed. So Facebook, whatever, like no news from elsewhere when you're viewing from Canada, because you might get an unfavorable view of our beloved dear leader, and those can't be right because nothing could ever be wrong with our dear leader.
Nothing whatsoever.
So it's just getting rid of disinformation.
Hey, look, cute cats and honey badgers.
Yay!
And Chainmail Man.
Yeah. So you're getting some chainmail being inked live today, Billy Bob. I hope you're enjoying this.
You better not fuck it up.
Yeah, I can
That's
feel
right.
the pressure already.
We'll murder you.
I expect nothing less.
I want to go show some Fiendish. Of course, I'm going to show some Fiendish pages.
I just got an update on Fiendish 2.5 today. It sounds like Reni's still shipping out copies. I'm still waiting for mine. I was a little farther along in the campaign before I ordered my copy. I'm looking
Well, it's
forward
that,
to
and
them,
also
though.
when you order bundles, they usually do single orders first, and then
Yeah, and that makes sense. I ordered like all the issues at once, so I mean, yeah, I can see mine taking a bit longer.
of course I'm always going to show off Fiendish. It's one of my favorite.
It's a
Yeah.
great looking comic, to be honest. Like, it's on my to get list for sure.
I also think Rini deserves all the recognition she can get just for artwork alone, and I also really like the story for Fiendish so far.
Can't speak for the story, but the art looks great. Like, especially with the colors on it, it just pops in a very special way.
It's very much in the same vein as something like Berserk and Vagabond. It has that same type of tone and also pacing so far. So it's a big reason why I'm really enjoying it, or at least the first few issues.
Like, I'm still hearing the guy from the intro in my head. Like, he's still singing along again.
He will never go away.
The only complaints I have with hers is just the hands.
Yeah.
Huge fan of how they're drawn.
My only real complaint is I think it's like certain panels the coloring can feel a little off to me, but it feels inconsistent when I say that, because there's others where I really like the coloring. It's only certain panels. It's usually the darker panels where I notice it more.
I also love. So all the sound effects are done in the language she made up.
Yeah, so she definitely gets some extra points for that. That's an extra world development. But it's like it's strange because it's like meta world development because you're sort of it's within the media. Like it's the sound effects. It's very strange and very cool at the same time.
It's
Yeah,
all
so-
about phonetics.
She also has certain characters actually speak in the language, and then has the translated part right next to with it being written in it.
It's a great way to have them say obscenities without anyone knowing.
Well, I don't think this series has to worry about,
No, I'm just thinking of future uses that I could implement.
I mean,
This
it's
poor
all
woman's got her
audience
arm ripped
and,
off. Look, her bone's still there, dude.
I mean, the tone set in Fiendish so far is extreme violence, some very dark subject matter, and the occasional boob. So I mean, I don't think we have to worry about being kid friendly.
Yeah, I also like her paneling. Just keeps it fun.
That is
Oh,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah, she looks very manga-ish.
Yeah, she also uses a lot of diamond shaped panels and shit. Notice?
And I do generally like that. It gives a bit more of kind of like an action emphasis to it. There's an easier type of order where you can read each panel. There's more of an implication there.
I think one of the things I've always kind of struggled to like comprehend is just I feel like there is an art to laying out like well-paced panels in a comic. It's just being able to grasp that because sometimes I feel like compared to like manga, a lot of Western released comics, their pages are almost too crowded with panels, or that may just be a personal opinion.
I think
no,
George
it's definitely a
Alexopoulos,
fact. Yeah. No,
I think
you
George
nailed the head on it.
Alexopoulos said it best when he described it when he was making Ghost of the Badlands. He called it letting the panels breathe.
Right. Well, because sometimes they just cram in way too much. Sometimes less is better.
Yeah, that's
Also-
usually why I prefer manga, is just the pacing of the panels more so.
And American comics have usually lower page count, so they're trying to cram more story within less pages as well. I think that's kind of a side effect of why you see more panels in the American stuff. And the Europeans can have even more because the Europeans usually work with larger original boards, where because the Bond Disney will end up printed a little bit wider and a little bit higher, so you have even more panels in the European stuff.
Right.
That makes sense. I know that, at least I know it's different now with how manga is published, but from what I've seen, like, that a lot of it is published in magazines that are released every so often. Sometimes certain issues are released like once a week, and
That's
I guess
why.
they're limited to one chapter or so during that. I'm not sure about like the page count that they're allotted for that. Or I don't know if it depends on how well the series is actually doing or not.
Talking about manga?
Yeah.
I think, well, it's got to be a good series if they're going to allow a monthly release.
Well, no, I know that
Usually they
different
want to-
different magazines, like some of them release like every 3 months, some like once a month, or it just depends on like
Right.
what kind of magazine or it is that's publishing.
What kind of magazine? What are the expectations for the genre that you're publishing for? Usually, a lot of shonen series release weekly or bi-weekly or something along those lines.
Makes me think of
Yep.
one of the series I really enjoy, and I'm not sure if any of you have read or watched it because there is an anime of it, is Bakugan.
I've
And,
heard that before.
no.
It is
Do you mean Bakuman?
Bakuman. Sorry, The names are
two
really close.
very similar series,
sorry.
two very similar titles, but very different series. One is like transforming robot balls that you roll in an arena, and then the other is a manga on how to make manga.
Wow.
Yeah, I meant Bakuman. Sorry. It is made by the same creators of Death Note, and it delves into the manga industry and how they get things done. Which, of course, it centers around like a bit larger, like not as realistic story in some senses, but you still have the fundamentals of kind of being shown of how things are made in it. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I
Also,
love
I just love
those
how these flames are drawn.
Say what?
flames.
So the flames look really good.
Yeah,
really
it's like is that a funeral pyre or?
Yeah. Big old funeral pyre, like 3 bodies on there.
Yeah. The mountains seem a bit bright, though. I wonder why the mountains are so bright. It's not the flames. I would have made them a little bit darker.
So,
Problem.
Frederick, Umbrella Cat, I wanted to ask you all a question about yourselves and your art. How would you say that you all start with your drawing process? Like, what would you say to your fellow artists, and for those of us who don't really draw, where do you start? What's your first step?
In an illustration, or just learning to draw?
In sort of like an illustration, like how would you start an art project in your regular day?
So as for me, I always try and get the structure or shape of what I'm drawing down first, because it's easier to work off of basic shapes or fairly basic shapes and then add detail to that as you go. And because it's more so about getting the form, capturing the form of something, the essence of something, and then adding detail and expression to it as you go. At least for me.
Yeah, I've often heard that drawing is often like sculpting or making a sculpture. Would you agree with that? Disagree with it?
I think you have a bit more leeway with the drawing because you can always erase, add, take away, put back on. You know, there's more to play with. Because in the sculpture, well, it depends because you can do that with like if you're working with earth, terre glaze, you can play around with that as well. I guess it's easier to work on 2D plane. You see everything all at once from one angle. Whereas a sculpture, you have to make sure your sculpture looks good from every single angle.
Right, it's like difference in working in 2D and 3D. Depends on what medium you're using.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see. Frederick, do you kind of have a similar approach to your artwork, or do you have like a different take?
Pretty close. Like, you know, you got to start with the structure, and I always make sure that in the initial sketch to make sure I capture the movement I want to get, because especially in comics, a lot of it is about the sequence of events and what happens. So you're always trying to make sure there's dynamism in the story. And I can erase like many times. Like I can try the sketch, and sometimes it can be like it could take up to a dozen tries until like I get a satisfactory like initial movement shape, and then when it's down, you know it's down, and then you can start building on that structure and add all the details, the emotion, and all that stuff afterwards. But I think you have to put a lot of thought sometimes in the initial building blocks to make sure you're going in the right direction, because the rest, no matter how good you make the rest, it's all going to be amplified by your initial impulse, your initial creation. I know like old school comic book artists, a lot of times what they did is they did really quick small sketches and thumbnail sketches, and they'd blow it up using a photocopier, and then they trace over the blown up photocopied from their tiny little sketch, because they can't recreate the initial dynamism that they get at such a large scale in a thought out manner. A lot of that comes from the initial impulse. Like a lot of, you can get it right on the first time as well, sometimes when you're lucky. So as much as you can erase a lot to get searching for what you're looking for, sometimes you get lucky and get the right movement on the first sketch as well.
So would you call that sort of like planning, or is it more just kind of like going with your gut instinct in that sense, where you're trying to just get the general motion of the drawing down first and then fix it later?
You got to balance both, I think, because in comics you have a story to tell, so you have information you have to portray in your drawing, and then on top of that you have to make the drawing exciting as well as that. So you're planning on what you need to be in the drawing, and then you're using your gut impulse to basically, you're like a director in an imaginary room. So you're just like, okay, I got my guy here, he's doing the thing. Now let me go in this imaginary room and with my camera and look all over him like a sculpture you would with a sculpture, but it's all imaginary. So you're just going around your pictured image of him. Okay, if I come from this angle, he looks really cool. And if I do it from that angle, okay, that's even better. And if I could change the lighting, make it more exciting here, oh, okay, I can see a real good looking image here. Okay, I got it. And then eventually your gut will tell you, okay, this is something I could get excited about. And then you can run with your idea, I think.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. So it sounds like a lot of it is you're going off of kind of like feeling in that sense. I've drawn a little bit myself. I'm by no means an expert. In fact, I'm barely even a novice. And I've kind of noticed that much, at least from what little I've drawn, is a lot of it feels like you're going based off your gut there. But it also makes sense where there is a certain amount of planning there as well.
Yeah, you have to make sure everything is in the suitcase you're bringing along, on to your panel.
Yeah,
I can do a rough metaphor, but once you've got all these elements, you still have to present them in a way that the reader is going to get excited. As they're learning about the story, they're also getting excited because you're giving them like a thrilling ride as you're feeding them this information.
Okay.
I've always struggled with getting. I think a big important thing is gesture and how you want your pose to, like, do you want it to have movement? Do you want it to be more solitary? And I've always struggled with my art appearing more rigid than I intend. And I'm still working on trying to master like gesture and capturing movement within a pose.
But hey, at the very least, it's a weakness you recognize and you're working on. For me, that's always a key first step. If you know what your strengths and your weaknesses are, you're always improving.
And there's a great resource for that. Like when I learned to draw movement was actually from an old How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way book.
I actually own that book myself several years ago when I was about 10, 11, 12 years old. So I know what book you're talking about.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah. So there's this chapter on movement where they show you a character basically doing a punch, throwing a punch, or doing different kinds of movements, and they show you how to pick out the most interesting ones. Usually in the beginning or end of a movement, you'll get the most exciting poses. Like if you think of someone, like first idea that comes to mind is pulling a punch, but it doesn't have to be violent, of course. But the most exciting pose is when the punch is all being pulled back, like he's about to strike, and he's like all the way back ready, like the energy's all there. Or when after the impact, when he's just given the punch and he's like at the other extreme, like at the end of the movement of the energy, striking his opponent. So, and obviously you can find other interesting poses in between, but I thought that chapter really did a good breakdown because it's kind of a beginner's book on many levels, but it's the only book I've ever seen movement being like explained in a very simple way that you can learn. I think a lot of artists point back to that book.
Yeah, I've kind of noticed something similar. A lot of people who who draw or artists either on a personal or professional level, they'll usually reference that book to some degree, just because of how well it'll actually go into detail on kind of like going across the fundamentals anyway. So yeah, I definitely get that. It makes a lot of sense.
No. Oh,
Now, let
go
me
ahead.
share some of Otter's artistic
Oh.
ability.
Fuck.
There you go.
Is that
Man.
your? You got an autographed book with athletic tits, Billy Bob?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, that's good.
That's rare. It's the author's art.
That's got to be worth quite a handsome.
It tells you precisely two things about me. One, I have the shakiest hands in the West. Two, I can't draw for shit.
Well, if you hadn't told me, I would have thought they were jiggling. So I don't think you should tell people that.
Well, I
what, a
just said
fucking radiator? But going off with you, I'm going to share two other Vagabond and a Dragon Ball one. So I'm going to go to.
Ooh, and they look to be really good panels too.
Ooh.
Talking about motion and also the posing of the character after they're getting hit.
Whoa, that is intense.
Well, it's kind of like what you said, Frederick. In a lot of comic art, whenever you're trying to convey emotion, you're usually drawing characters in extremes of where they are, kind of like what they're doing, whether at the start or usually the end of their action. Anywhere in between, it doesn't feel quite as energetic, I guess.
Yeah.
Thought I clicked the Dragon Ball one, but I clicked the same one twice.
And the Japanese use a lot more movement lines than I see here in the West. Like the obvious motion lines in the background, we do use those a lot, but all the, like when the sword moves, when the punch moves, you see a lot more of the character's body turning to speed lines.
That's one thing I really do appreciate with manga is there's a lot more time and energy put into the actual motion of each panel, which is something I really like. It's a big criticism I have with a lot of American comics that have been made in the last few decades. Not all of them, but a lot of them seem to make the fundamental mistake of it feels like a still shot. There's a high amount of clarity, but it doesn't feel like they're actually moving, if that makes any sense.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. Whereas if you look like a comic like Berserk, because we've been reading that lately, like the whole action scene is going to be drawn with no solid lines. Like every body part is going to be just speed lines, building up the shades that show the shapes of the characters, but it's all speed lines if you look closely.
Yeah, and we got to see a lot of how that's done especially with Guts swinging his sword. I think a big part of the catharsis there is how Miura uses speed lines or movement lines to kind of convey that motion. You feel it every time he swings that sword.
100%.
Wrangler in the chat is just saying, look at those power-ups. I'm guessing he's referring to the athletic titties. Either that or it's something else.
I think they were upside down.
Oh, okay, so I was kind of
we'll get to see more athletic titties soon. I'm referring more to Fiendish here because I know there's a panel or two that are pretty what's the word? Busty's not quite right. We'll get there.
I do like she has the characters outside of the panels going to the next one.
The colors are much more beautiful nowadays than they used to be. Like people are putting a lot more detail, a lot more colors.
Look at this. Little eyeball.
That's
and here's once again, this one I love the sound. Like I love it when they keep the Japanese sound effects because I can't fucking read Japanese, so it just looks like interesting, word drawings on there. Same thing
Right.
with fan. Yeah,
Exactly. If you can't speak the language, it still looks interesting. And look how easy it is to read the first panel. Like there's so much detail. You got one character over two other characters, but the coloring just separates everything, gives you quick understanding of what's happening.
Well, it's also the speed lines. You can see he's clearly going from right to left, and he's losing a lot more than just blood. It's pretty much everything in his skeleton included.
A bloody mess.
Yeah, it's a good example of an artist actually exaggerating the amount of gore that they're showing, but it works for what they're doing. Oh, and Wrangler, you were talking about power-ups.
Also, this panel has a funny backstory because when she was drawing it and stuff a long time ago on stream, I think John Malin and all them were joking because it kind of looks like he was jacking off towards her face and shit. And she was like, "Oh man, maybe I should change it." And they're all like, "No, don't change it. Keep it the same."
Wrangler
Also,
saying,
this is
"You
where
have
they-
my attention."
Yeah, this is where they when she has they speak in that language, and then she'll have the box right next to it with the translation.
Everything is up to 11. Like the colors, the drawing, the storytelling. It's just a very good quality comic.
So let me get this straight, Billy Bob. If he's jacking off in her direction, she just looks so unimpressed.
Right. She's just like, you fucking asshole, fuck you.
Like this fucking guy. Does he really have to do it here?
Umbrella Cat, would you say that's athletic tits?
I guess, kind of.
All right, we're gonna have to kill her.
They might be recreational tits.
Here's Fiendish 2.5. Now, she didn't draw this one. Michael Rushbrook, a different artist, drew it. This is the preview page in the back of the second one. We're going to do a little comparison. This is the finished one from the actual book, colors. Quite darker. They have like a texture of grit on them as well in the preview ones.
Yeah, that texture really does add a lot to the final product.
Well, this is the final one.
Oh, I see.
You can tell it's quite a difference. It was her and the other dude who colored it on this one. What does it say? Ivan Pinda? The fuck last name is that?
Ivan Pineda? I'm sure I'm butchering that name.
I think he just got his Hyper Wizard on her channel. That's the dude, the Australian one. There's the preview, or not the preview. That's the finished one. Then there's tell quite a bit of difference.
And I feel bad because I always get these two characters mixed up. One is Ragna. I forget her name just because it's been a while since I read Fiendish.
We're talking about the purple one. The purple one is Yaomi. What's her name?
Yeah, because they both have like pinkish, purplish skin, and they both have green hair, kind of done in a similar way.
Well, Yaomi doesn't have green hair. She has black.
No. Or maybe I am getting them mixed up.
Yeah. She has black hair. Her race is basically tieflings.
Basically.
Ragna's.
Are these
British elves?
Billy Bob? Are these books like 30 pages or so? What's the page count on these books?
I think the first one is 50, 60 something, maybe 50 pages.
Okay, that's almost
50.
an album. Yeah.
I think the second one is like 70 pages or something like that, almost 70.
Oh yeah, that's a legit European album's worth of
Yeah.
comics.
2.5 is, I think, 23 pages or something like that. 22, 23.
Which is
But
like
it's
a
just an in
floppy.
between, like, little chapter. Yeah, it's a little floppy.
Yeah, that's
really
that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
I really like that we're seeing more indie comics kind of moving in the direction of either manga or bande dessinée, where it's like there isn't a strict page count. It's just however much we want in this story, that's what we're gonna do.
Yes, I
This
like that.
this little thing is the bookmark, by the way, that comes with it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'd love like the indie scene to have like manga paneling, American style, and bande dessinée hardcovers and sizes. You know, like all three have something to offer that you can.
You kind of got that with Ghost of the Badlands.
Yeah,
right?
well,
Yeah.
I also think Razor put it best with a lot of bande dessinée. It's like whenever a new bande dessinée volume comes out, it feels like a movie release or something like that.
Well, they call them albums.
So, Frederick, you remember when we were watching the stream where she was drawing this or coloring this page?
Ah, yes, the good old times.
So, I actually don't like that they put color in this panel. They should have kept it white like they had originally.
Well, you're
'Cause I
just
thought
a
it made-
hater. You're just a hater, Billy Bob. Obviously.
Yeah, I know, but like I do think the original one where it was just full on white made this pop
Yeah.
way better on it than in the
Yeah. I
panel.
mean, sometimes when you see the black and white, you just fall in love with it, and it's like perfect.
Yeah, there's also a little bit comparison. I kind of get like feelings of Piccolo and Gohan from Dragon Ball Z, the relationship between these two.
Well,
Him
I
just
couldn't
being an
say.
asshole.
Yeah,
Telling him to survive on his own.
don't know Dragon Ball Z, unfortunately.
Yeah, I need to brush up on my DBZ lore. I'm one of the uninitiated when it comes to Dragon Ball.
Manga's
I
good.
do like these blood spatter effects, though.
Oh yeah, that's a nice dark blood. It looks real.
All right, now Shadow of the Conqueror.
Oh,
Okay, this was a
boy.
bait and switch. I knew it. Next is
We were
Gotham
gonna get
High.
here at some point.
How do we get
So,
it?
Umbrella Cat, you're looking at this 2-page
Spread.
kind of thoughts.
It's extremely overcrowded, that's for sure.
Also,
Like there is no good focus other than the bright beams of light.
Also, if I remember correctly, it's you read it like this. You go here, 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 then here, here, and here, and here.
That's not confusing at all.
It doesn't help that there's no clear panels. I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to imply a natural sort of progression from one scene to the next, but it doesn't feel like that, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, but the progression would be this. Then you go like this. There's no border, by the way. It's all overlapping each other.
Yeah, there's one
Yeah.
major flaw in this composition, and it's that knight at the bottom right. Like he is being cucked with his sword cut off with the panel. It looks like his sword is just a wimpy.
Hold up, the sword's
part of
going
it.
right through his family.
Yeah, it's
It's right
not
under the
thought
woman's
through.
skirt.
Yeah,
I was seeing this from afar and I thought that was a gun. I didn't
It
realize
actually
was a
does look
sword.
like it.
yeah.
Am I the only one where the lighting also kind of throws me off in that spread? It's like seeing the Sunblade Forge there. It's too bright. If maybe it's just how it's
Keep in mind,
together.
Since I have a yellow light over when I'm taking these pictures on bed and shit, it's not really on the Fiendish one. The Fiendish one, the pictures represent what the colors look like. On the Shadow of Conqueror one, for some reason, it actually makes the colors look brighter than what they actually are. They're far more mute.
Okay, then it's just how it's coming across. Then it's not an actual flaw on the part of the artwork.
Nah, there's the coloring's still not good.
Right. But it's just the specific gripe I was having, and not really the case with the actual graphic novel.
Right. Like it's just a look. I mean, you can ask Christian; he'll tell you. Here's another one, and he also doesn't like using the line panel
So
lines for his panels. He
I'm
just
gonna
has them.
point out one thing with this artwork already, and that is the color palette. It is very gray, very brown. And I know this is dark fantasy. This is a Song of Ice and Fire, but still, I do not like that when you're trying to make
It
a
isn't.
darker, more
Here's the thing.
serious story. Oh, is it?
No.
Is it not?
Here's the thing. Even a Song of Ice and Fire is supposed to be very bright and colorful because they're wearing Renaissance. Especially this one is supposed to be Renaissance.
Right. What I'm
style.
saying though is that with a lot of like more kind of like morally ambiguous fantasy, it feels like a very cheap way of getting that across is by making all the colors like muted, gray, brown, like the Gears of War effect, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Everything's
Also,
sienna.
These are not connected, by the way, but he decided to draw this architecture right next to this architecture, so it kind of looks like they're fucking blended together.
It doesn't help that the panels, they don't have any borders or anything kind of like marking them apart. So they just kind of, it just kind of like awkwardly cuts there in a diagonal slash.
Yeah, which doesn't. Do these connect? Because these don't, but the clouds are. Also, he doesn't like using cross hatching and shit. It just has. It looks like brown smeared turd on people's faces and everything.
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan whatsoever. Speaking of which, I did want to ask Umbrella Cat and Frederick another question, which is not completely irrelevant to what's going on here. Is there a bad piece of media that inspired you in any way?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. That's kind of what got me into comics this time around. Like I was just wandering in old Quebec and went into the comic shop. I hadn't been there in a long time because I wasn't like comics weren't on the top of my mind at that time. But I was like wandered in and I saw a James Bond graphic novel, like really nicely bound, in a hardcover with a nice little bookmark included in the seam. So it looked gorgeous, like the whole fucking book just looked. And I was like, oh, I could go for a nice James Bond story, man. That's pretty cool. I love the character. So I buy it like right away, take it home. I just skimmed through it to check the art. And I start reading it, and it's like kind of retarded woke shit.
Oh,
They're like they don't have any more money in the MI6, so now they're on like cafeteria chairs. Like it makes no fucking sense. Like for a government spy to not have money for chairs, like it's the most retarded kind of setting, and it fit right in with where the movies were going and where comics were at the time. So I had just forgotten about woke for some reason because I've been out of the shops for so long. Like my guard was down. So when I saw that, I was like, well, I gotta fucking do something about comics being woke. And that's kind of what prompted me to start my own comic.
it sounds like one of those instances where it's like the story itself is like breaking the fourth wall in a way, because part of the fun of storytelling is you want to create a mood that kind of draws your audience in some way, whether that's through the world itself, the conflict at hand. You want something that is able to kind of like grab them and take them on a journey, if that makes any sense. And
for sure.
when like in a James Bond movie, you're expecting spy world, you're expecting Bond to be very kind of like suave, very cunning, for there to be a lot of kind of like femme fatale chicks that are either trying to seduce him or have their own ulterior motives. So to have that be broken in such a very obvious and transparent way, it immediately comes across like a betrayal. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because you come to the brand James Bond expecting something, but they did a Last Jedi, like they did a subversion. So they subverted your expectation of getting a spy novel with a strong lead. They kind of dumb him down, and it's almost like they had fun like tearing down the character. You know, it's not strange anymore. We see it all over the place now. It's just every time it's kind of disappointing when it's a brand you enjoyed.
And then you wonder why these creators are getting mad at their fans for not enjoying it.
Yeah.
Wonder of wonders.
Go figure.
Go figure. Umbrella Cat, is there a bad piece of media that inspired you and your creative process or your artwork?
I'm not sure if there is, to be honest. I'm not. Yeah, I can't really think of any that have inspired my artwork so much for me to like want to go like against it. It's more so like ones I find that I like, that I kind of incorporate that style just a little bit into my own artwork. Just here and there.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, not everybody is inspired when it comes to a negative experience when it comes to artwork. It's a very it sounds like you're going from a more optimistic standpoint in the sense that I really enjoy this piece of fiction. It's inspiring me in a positive way. I'm going to put my own spin on it.
Right, exactly. Because, yeah, I do recognize like art that I do not enjoy or I see that can be improved upon a lot. But for it to influence my art, I wouldn't say that anything has affected me that strongly.
And that's completely fair. Let's see. Let's put up another question. Yeah, this one is not going to hit home whatsoever. Frederick,
Yes.
how many 3D assets do you use in your work?
A couple. So it's not like 3D assets in the sense that I drop them in the file and add a filter on them. But for the overview of a city, I used Google Earth, and usually because actually this is a perfect page to talk about this. If you can just show this for a second,
Yeah.
Billy Bob, because this was a 3D asset. The first panel on this page.
Let me
What?
see if I can.
Man, you gotta be quicker about this.
So this one here, this was taken from Google Earth. So basically, I went to look at the prison, and then I had 3D view activated, and like I was telling you earlier, like I span around it, looked for the best view possible of the prison, and I actually chose this prison for the look. Actually, it turns out it fits with the story and everything, but I wanted to have a prison that kind of looked good in a panel. And so this was actually a 3D asset of Google 3D Google Earth, and I had it on a screen and I was looking at it and drawing on the table right next to it. But I did an overview of the Montreal city where I did the same thing, except it was a bit too wide of a shot to do it just by looking. So I used a projector where I projected the image on top of the drawing and basically traced the view of the buildings behind the character. So I had drawn the character by hand ahead of time, and then I just traced the elements of the background. It was just simpler to do. But yeah, that's the extent of the 3D assets that I've got in my story.
Tell me you didn't use all 3D assets? Fucking cheapskate.
Are you telling me you didn't use a filter?
Well, I'm unfiltered.
You actually hand drawn it? Disgusting.
It's called old school.
Disgusting.
Lame.
Anyways, back to Shadow of the Peeper. Back to this piece of shit.
Do you know if his art, because we're on the topic, like, do you know how he draws, if he draws by hand or if it's tablet?
He draws by, I think it's physical.
Okay.
For sure, it's hand drawn.
I've seen his black and white artwork compared to his color, and it always feels like when it comes to the actual color tones and everything, that's where I start to fall off with his artwork a lot. If there's an artificial kind of like feeling to a lot of the colors and everything. If you see
This
it
is
in
when he turns
monochrome,
in-
it actually looks a lot better.
This is when he turns into an ugly 13-year-old girl.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you mean. That was one of your gripes with the book. In the previous page, I kind of like the last panel where he's like sticking his knife into the other guy's eyeball. It's kind of intense.
You and I are going to have to do a proper review of the graphic novel versus the prose novel for Shadow of the Conqueror. I want to do a proper compare and contrast as to what all kinds of changes there were.
That'd be cool. I'd watch that.
I mean, I'm down for it. I don't even know when the second one was supposed to come out. Like, I don't even think I don't know. Not looking forward to it, but I'll get it just to.
Sounds like a chore.
God, look at this.
Damn.
A lot of this doesn't line up with what I remember reading in the book. Is this where he is sparring with the wagon driver? Is that right?
No, no. This is a flashback. This is like an old man who they were best friends, and he was like loyal, and then I don't know. He decided to. I don't know.
I like the movement, the gesturing in the first panel, but
Oh, and
yeah,
Which
already
one?
it's the second panel now. I realize there's a
oh,
sword.
this one? Yeah, this one's not bad.
No.
but-
The real second panel.
This one?
He's talking about
Of
the
the
wide panel
page.
above.
You have the first
Oh!
panel at the top, and then you have the second panel with the two dudes.
Yeah, the one
Yeah,
where
I don't like
Dale
the
is
pose
kind of like
necessarily.
taunting him. There is a
Yeah.
good sense of motion there. I'll give
Yeah.
it that. It's the gesture.
Yeah, I think that works, but I think he loses everything in the fourth panel
Oh
where
my
he
God.
strikes his sword. I think he just loses a lot of manliness in that panel. I think.
It's like
I think he
a
lost
very
manual
like
in this panel.
passive swipe there.
Yeah, he's kind of like his hips are kind of tilted, aren't they?
Yeah, it's like he's twisting his whole body. It looks very unnatural.
Yeah, but that's something that the artist does in his style. Like we've seen that in the other book, the one what's it called?
Oh, the gay star. Oh, I'm
What's it
sorry,
called?
Lone Star.
Lone Star, right. Yeah.
Well, what gets me about the panel with both of them swinging their sword is when Dalen swings, his back is twisted away from his opponent.
Yeah, how did that?
So it's like,
How did that?
as far as sparring goes, like never turn your back to your enemy.
Well, he's offering him something else. And look,
Mm.
look there. You see that? Yeah. Why is he completely twisted?
Yeah.
Just to deflect a sword.
Yeah, I think that's the panel that kind of breaks the page in a sense.
Yeah, and then this is the next page.
I
Okay.
don't like that expression.
Yeah. It looks robotic more than human. It reminds me of like those carnival faces that are carved in the entrance of like a ride.
Also,
Yeah.
are you all kind of getting a feeling for kind of like the disparity in the kind of like tech level of the world? because in one panel we're seeing like scantily clad slave girls, and then the next it's like this very Baroque dress code.
Yeah, but these are just like the bitches. He's a fucking conqueror, so he's gonna. Have you not seen the like what is it, the Middle East one? They'll have the fucking female guards, and they're just there for show.
Right. It's just, I don't exactly know how to explain it. It's like there's two different kind of like styles, kind of like clashing here, if that makes any sense. Like one in like it makes sense with where he's a conqueror, but why are we also getting sort of like the Baroque sort of like intellectual dress along with that? That kind of goes
Well,
against
I mean,
his reign.
they're man royalty. These are the actual guards. These are his concubines.
I guess.
I mean, are you really gonna want your concubines like dressed up like this?
No,
No,
but
no.
I'm what I'm saying is how everybody dresses is going to be a little more barbaric, or at the very least a bit more war focused if you're under a tyrant.
Jesus. Well, they're concubines, man. Like I'm gonna have to. Like it'd be one thing if a fucking lady outside in the town, like a noble lady walking around with that. All right, it makes sense. But it's just, I mean, it's fucking whores. It's this collection of whores, you know?
Right. Well, what I'm really saying is like one looks like it could have come out of Wheel of Time, the other looks like it would have come out of a Conan novel. That's all I'm really
Right.
saying.
But once again, it's his concubine, so it's not like random bitch off the street, you know?
No, it's fair.
Also, Frederick, just tell me what's going on here. Like,
So
why does he do this?
he bleached his hair at the local, hair shop, hair salon.
They all
Yeah, but
so part of the book is they all have hair colors where in our world that would be unnatural. So a lot of them have like naturally like
Okay.
tan and green hair colors, purple.
Fair
But
enough.
why is he shading like this when he does like the shadows on their face? It's like smeared ass.
I don't know.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's cross hatching here.
Yeah.
Not consistent. I don't know, just confused me. All right, here's that double page spread. The
I see
flashback
what
was
you
this
mean.
old man.
Oh, here's the one. Here's the one you've shown me before.
God, I hate this double page spread.
There's a lot of things I don't like about it. There's not a good sense of depth in the spread.
Well, because it's like
There's a lot going on.
too much going on. Like we got this side, but this side's also supposed to be a panel where he's fighting them.
Yeah. There's like so
And-
basically creating panels with the way he divides the page up with the main characters in the center.
Right, and then this is also it's a panel, but I mean, we got this already. Why the fuck do we need this?
Yeah, it's kind of
It's
redundant.
completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
And then we got this one, which cuts across his fucking face in the other one. The same dude.
It feels like if you removed a few faces from this, so those three faces, if you removed all of that, it would have been a much cleaner spread.
Right, but I don't like this would be a fucking 2-page spread, and that's what you'd be focused on. But then we also got this one. I don't know. Umbrella Cat, you looking at this?
Yeah. It is just trying to make sense of it, to be honest.
There's no.
By the way,
clear
this
motion
fight
to
scene.
it.
By the way, in this fight scene starts on the about to start. This is the clash with the double page spread. It literally ends on the next page.
I like the pose of them clashing swords, like where it's full body of them.
Yeah, that's
Why?
fine.
Why is the
but-
close up of them meeting swords behind them? That's
Yeah.
my
I
question.
don't
It's a
know.
very good question.
Yeah. That's the clincher.
I don't
Doesn't-
know why he had this dude fighting him in the background.
And that's not even the thing that upsets me the most. Like the thing that kind of triggers me a little bit is the design for the knights in the background behind the old
Oh,
man.
yeah.
It's I can't
Hey,
get
you
my
notice
head
something
around the
missing
design of the
with
armor.
yeah, you notice something missing with the armor as well? It's very suspicious. What would usually be right here? Chainmail is missing from all of these. And I've
Yeah,
shown
that's
his
really
chainmail drawings
suspicious,
before.
actually.
Like, I don't like this is what confuses me. The design looks stupid, by the way. But on top of that, like Shad's a fucking like medieval armor enthusiast. Were these the designs described in the book?
No, they weren't. There was a lot of detail that he went into with the weaponry and the architecture, but not the armor. Not really. Other than just the color of somebody's robes for like what faction or emblem they were kind of like
These
standing.
look like they belong in like Riddick.
Yeah, I think I can articulate it a little bit better than initially. Because if you look at the visor, the shape of the visor on all the masks, it kind of parallels the shape of the chin. So it makes his face look square, like really off as a square angle. See, the visor has exactly the same shape as the chin. It's very parallel and very flat. And I can't imagine eyes being behind the visor because the visor doesn't even seem to be in any perspective because it's always in that shape. See, we see the eyes through the mask, and a lot of the eye slit is just wasted upwards above the eyes.
You want to know what I think would have fixed this spread a lot? Is if he removed a lot of the background noise and just had it be the two of them clashing full body, and then on the top left side just be like plate male knights, and then the other side would be sort of like rebels or something like that, kind of like the
Well,
common
you
man.
can have this clash, and you can have them in the background and him, and it's just that's all.
Right.
It'd be fine.
But it doesn't feel like there's a theme kind of like uniting all of this. It's like, yeah, they're clashing swords, but why are we getting it hammered home like 2 or 3 times, and why are we getting other gestures in this that don't clearly fit in? There's no real order to this.
Oh, this is a better showing of I do not get this armor. It's so stupid.
What is that on their back?
Oh my god! So it looks like a bolt, a fucking bolt that you put the flathead in and unscrew it.
What's there for though?
Like these would make sense if they were in Riddick. I don't know if y'all remember watching Riddick.
It would make sense if they were
True.
robots or something.
It's true. It looks like a big like handle or something. Looks like a toy.
Yeah.
Built Tonka tough.
Oh dear.
There's your favorite where he looks like a midget. Well, what did EVS call it?
Looks like a midget. I don't know. This one is one of the best ones so far.
Yeah, but he looks really fucking tiny, dude.
There's a minor problem I have with this is how the swords are kind of situated. It's what's his name? Why am I blanking on his name? Standing
Black
right
Man.
behind him. He's holding his sword in such a way where it looks like Dalen could also be holding it in his left hand. So you look at it from afar, it really looks like he could be holding that sword as well.
I don't think he looks particularly small. I don't see it.
I don't either. I think
Are you
it's
meaning
more
like his foot?
No. So what I'm saying is if you looked at it from afar, it almost looks like he's holding it as well. If you don't kind of like zoom in on his hand there, what it's actually doing, it looks like it could be holding that sword in the other one, just facing downward.
Well, no. I mean, you can see this his hand pretty clearly on this one. Even from afar, you'd see. Because if you saw it from afar and you're thinking that, you think his arm is going like noodling like this and then grabbing it, a really tiny little dagger, you know?
It might have just been something where it was like the eye kind of like puts 2 and 2 together, 2 and 3 together makes it 4 or something like that. That could be something what's going on, or it may just be me.
Yeah, you're gonna have to reread that book. All right, here's some
Alright.
fucking core draft shit I actually like.
Yeah.
The fucking Conan 5e character.
Hey, look, clear panel composition. You can actually
Mhm.
tell what's going on, even if the panel's busier.
You could tell who are the good guys and the bad guys.
Core draft I had a lot of fun with. So to give you an example, I got Shadow of the Conqueror on the 20th, and I fucking like for about 2-3 days I was spurging out on how much I fucking hated it with Frederick Otter and all that.
Just wait
But
until you read the
luckily-
novel.
But luckily, I think I got it on the 24th, but I didn't, on Christmas Day, I finally saw that I had the package, and then woke up to this and got to read it, and boy, was it so fucking, it's just fun. Just a fucking fun comic. I think it's great. It's definitely has 5e shit and all that.
There's some really fun humor in there as well.
Yeah, one of the first fucking jokes is him and her together, Adriana, this is that chick, and then Core Draft. They haven't seen each other in a bit, so they decide to bang, and then it literally has a caption. It has a caption on one of the panels saying 3 minutes later.
Oh man. Oh, that's funny.
He only lasted 3. Oh,
That's funny.
like I said, this one is just fun. I'm ready for the second one. That'll be
Can
coming
you
out.
can you zoom in a little bit?
Which one?
Generally on the page, yeah, because we're seeing it kind of small on the screen.
All right. Well, let me go on to the second one. To read
So
it.
was this hand drawn or digital?
This is hand drawn.
Okay, I was curious about it because I was like, it looks like it could be digital, but if it is in any way, it's well disguised.
Probably
It's
digital colors.
No, it's
Right.
it's definitely so on the artist edition. He actually so the coloring, of course, is digital. Most
Yeah.
coloring is digital.
Yeah.
For books. But on he actually done the effects in hand drawn, like the fog and clouds and shit and all that, because of the artist edition and everything.
I like his muscles on his arms. They're very
Listen, I like the athletic tits. I'm just saying, redhead,
well.
Are they
Yeah.
athletic though?
very athletic.
Okay.
A lot of bouncing they do, every day.
Hey, that has my support.
What qualifies as athletic tits? Just wondering.
Well,
Well,
If they
let's
bounce
put
a
it this
lot-
way: that whenever the meme kind of came about from me writing in my book, because I used it in older drafts. This was used to describe General Karst, but in older drafts she had.
Hold on. I want to say something about that panel before you skip on. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
No, it's
Audra.
fine.
No, you're fine.
I was just looking at those last two panels. She really looks beautiful. Like in those.
how do you like
two
the
panels.
horse? You think the horse is
Well-
drawn well?
The one on the left, I think it looks off in the last panel. I'll be honest.
This one.
Yeah, the head looks off a little bit. I don't have a problem with the one on the right. So 1 out of 2 ain't
What about
bad.
the top panel? A little off in this one.
They look a little bit more like dogs than horses. Horses have their eyes a bit more on the side.
I was gonna say boars. Makes me
Yeah,
think of
yeah.
a bull.
All right. Andy Smith is
So-
going to come into your house and kill you.
I know. I'm making all my enemies now. My career is going to be ruined.
I'm going to say NDA, NDA.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, but I'm just calling it the way I see it. Because I like horses a lot. I think,
Well, now they're dead.
and they're not
Dead.
easy to draw. Yeah, well,
One
that's
you
the
talk
best.
shit about is dead now.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't know this is what was how it's going to end. I feel bad now.
Look, she even says, "What an ugly sight to behold."
At the very least, she's not an ugly sight to behold. So I'll take my wins where I can get it.
Yeah. No, she looks great. I think it's much more important that you get the female character right than the horses, to be honest. So we're in the green
Well,
still.
In fairness,
What
horses
was
are
it?
really tough to draw.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%.
Muy athletic.
See, that's a good posture. It's very feminine. And it's on a female character as well.
It's feminine, confident, and there's not even a whole lot of motion to it, but you can still get the gesture very easily.
Yeah, there's a little bit of motion. Well, she's kind of like tilted. So
Yeah.
her hips are tilted and her top is, balancing in the other way. So it looks very natural.
I like her expression.
Yeah, she's got kind of a sly look to her.
Well, the context behind this scene is the succubus villain chick. She like disguises herself as Adriana and puts a spell on Kordraft to where he can't move or anything. And after she fights that chick and she flies off, she's like being a little bit smug, being like, "Oh shit, well, gonna have to stay here all night."
3 minutes later. This looks good. The fire here looks really good.
Oh yeah, those fire effects, especially on the bottom panel, I love that.
Like it looks like, oh, I didn't even notice there was a lion in the sky.
Yeah, they're so in that other at the beginning of the book, their clans have like animals and stuff. So theirs is a big giant like tiger thing. The other one was like a big giant snake, and their village his village. She's not part of their village, but his village got wiped out by the one villain, the Necro Knight, whatever he's called. So they're doing a big giant funeral pyre for all of them. Either way, it fucking looks great. Also love it's a little hard to see, but I love the shadow on them. The flame.
That's a
And
cool
just in
villain right
general,
there.
I really like shadows.
The lightning is cracking. I like that.
Oh, it's a little too dark to see, but he fucking uses his strength to rip it in half. A little hard to see.
Well, it makes
That's
sense.
fatality if I've ever seen one.
It makes sense that it's dark because the electricity is kind of turned off in that panel. Like it goes.
Oh, well, the whole room's. Well, it's dark because actually the way I took the photo, you can actually see it clear.
Oh, okay. Oh, this looks like a cool pose. Is this the bad guy?
Yeah, this is the Necro Knight, dude.
Oh, that's a good name, Necro Knight.
I think that's the name. It's Necro Knight. And then the succubus chick is pulling her off a panel, the page. That's Kordraft. Once again, fucking fantastic comic. I will recommend it to anyone. It's just fun.
That looks
Yeah.
fun.
So I want to ask you guys, and this is kind of jumping right off of where we're looking at these different graphic novels, Kordrath, Shadow of the Conqueror. But as for both of you guys, what is your all-time favorite comic? What would you say that kind of is? Or if there's any one at all?
Wow.
I'm asking the tough questions tonight, so fully prepared to see where this goes.
It's weird because you say that, and I think of a comic that I like for the art. So, should I include the story and everything, or just like ones I like as inspiration?
It's up to
Here's
you.
the thing,
It
okay,
doesn't have to be
here.
for art. It doesn't have to be for story. It's just the one you like the most.
I think it would have to be Wolverine number 50.
Oh,
It's around the time where they were like talking about his origin story, and it was a gimmick cover that looked like a dossier, like a folder, and they had clawed out like three, basically rip marks from Wolverine's claws into the folder, and you could see inside the
Hold
comic.
up, hold up, hold up. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Here we go.
Yeah,
oh, that's really sick.
I think it's double sized. It's Mark Silvestri, my favorite artist, paired with the best inker, Dan Green. And like in one of the earlier pages, like he goes up the stairs and into an elevator with a motorcycle while smoking a cigar. It's so freaking badass. You have Nick Fury in there as well, like on his fucking Avengers platform ship in the sky, which is like an flying aircraft carrier, basically. And
Trying to see if I can find some of the pages.
yeah, I can go get it. I think I have it right near here as well. Want me to go get it? Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead and get it.
I think we're all for seeing some pretty cool artwork. Also, this cat is coming along really nicely.
So I'm not doing any official line art for it. It's more painterly. So more about making the shapes of it. Just using the sketch I had as a guide. If
Oh,
anything,
you know what you need?
oh, go ahead.
You know what you should do?
Mhm.
We're gonna have to make this the art chill stream thumbnails.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's the mascot.
Really?
100%. So I've got the book here. So this is the cover we were looking at. A bit of shine.
How did you not rip it?
Huh?
How long have you had this?
Like 20 fucking years. Ever
Gotta
since
be
it
so
came out.
careful.
Like I bought it when it came out.
There.
It's 1992. So that's holy shit. That's 32 years. Yeah. So here he is, like coming in the motorcycle. Let me put it this way. And this is what I meant by he comes in and he fucking drives up the stairs, dude, and screes inside the elevator. And then he's like hitting it up with this lady in the elevator. And this is Nick Fury in his fucking boat.
I also just want to point out, look at how the panels are laid along here. There's a clear order here. There's no confusion. There's clear use of borders. It's just everything you could ever want. Simple, easy to follow. That's what you want.
And fucking, he's jumping from the top of the building into the flying aircraft carrier with Nick Fury, claws his way through the fucking window, jumps in with his motorcycle, and screes in.
Frederick,
Can't top that. What?
Nick who?
Fury.
Oh, I thought you were saying Nick Fury.
No, that's you're thinking of another. That's your personal collection, I think.
No, that's modern.
Nick was making a Fur Affinity account or something.
I'd have to ask Readout about it.
Oh, poor Readout. He has the furry con in his state.
Yeah, we gotta bust his balls a little bit.
Furry economics.
See this?
And you're telling me there was no 3D assets used in this comic whatsoever?
I have no idea, man. Like, this is Mark
Well,
Silvestri.
this was done in the 70s, so that'd be a yes.
This is the
There's
90s. 90s, dude.
There's 90s?
Yes, 30 years ago is the 90s.
You said
Still some
70s
really
earlier.
fucking good artwork.
No, I never said the 70s. Yeah, this is, I think, because the next pages I got to draw in my story are kind of like this, like penthouse style evil villain lair at the top of the building. Like this might be used as some inspiration. And you got some D&D ads here. Walden Books.
It looks like a Dark Sun cover or something.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not getting that for modern D&D
And look,
drawing.
look at the
Probably better
secretary.
that we don't.
Look how fucking cute she looks. Like she's pouting here in this one. Can I move it up? Is this helpful? This is
Her
pretty
tits are
blurry.
even pointing at Wolverine's.
She's got
face.
the athletic tits before we knew athletic tits were a thing.
Hey, it's
Yeah.
athletic
Also, I
tits that
can't
support the
forgive
story.
comics. I can't really forgive artists when they draw really fucking ugly women.
And you
That
got
shit irks me the most.
the X-Men Wolverine here. So you're getting your money's worth. You got like Logan in the beginning. You got Wolverine. And this is awesome. Like he is finding the set where his memories were filmed. So this is a big like mind control operation where Wolverine was conditioned to become a weapon, Weapon X. And they actually had staged his whole memories, all his life. So he's walking through the sets of his life, just ripping apart the walls and realizing all his memories were created in a studio. And this he exits the studio here. And then you got Xavier and the whole is that him? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's Xavier and Cyclops.
Jubilee.
By the way, he got cucked in the fucking X-Men movies. Cyclops.
Cyclops, yes, he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back and rewatch the movies. It's been a while.
And towards the end, he faces Shiva the Destroyer, which I think we see in the Wolverine movie.
Which Wolverine movie had Shiva?
The Wolverine, I think it's called.
Oh, you talking about the samurai one?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the one where he's in Japan.
Exactly. Has nothing to do with this story. I just think it's the same character.
Is it the same character? Is that dude
Well-
even Japanese samurai?
It's the name that Shiva the Destroyer. Is that? Maybe I'm just making links where there are none. And there's like this whole psychological thing he's going through. So there's a lot of depth to the story. And he's just like fighting the robot at the same time he's fighting his inner demons. And yeah, great book. I think this is my favorite. And you get some Dungeons and Dragons.
Hey, more D&D artwork.
Play the new Dungeons and Dragons game.
Now the Blondie
edition
wouldn't
is
be
this,
drawn
I
like
wonder?
that nowadays.
Yeah, she's not diverse enough.
So this was the 90s. That would have had to have been second edition.
I think I was playing. Which one was the one that came with the red box? Was that first edition or second edition?
I think it's both technically.
That was AD&D, wasn't it?
No, I think it was just D&D. No, it's before AD&D. That's the one I started on. It was just called Dungeons and Dragons. No advanced yet. Advanced, I think, is the second edition, right?
Well, you were saying the red cover one, the one with the little red.
The red box. The red box, yeah, with the red dragon drawn by Elmore, I believe.
Oh, no. I'm thinking of the other one. That's like the little red demon dude. He's on it.
I really do think it was there for both the first edition and second edition.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oui. Oh, bonjour.
Yeah, that had to have been second edition era D&D. Third edition didn't come out till like 2000, I believe.
Oh, boy.
Now Stranger Things are making like references to it. It was so uncool back in the day.
We're to the point where there's like Stranger Things themed D&D products on the shelves, and I don't know who's buying it, but apparently it sells.
That X-Men comic looked good. Who was the artist for it?
That's Mark Silvestri. So he's the one that went up and created Witchblade for under Image. So he founded Top Cow Studios, had Witchblade and something else, I think.
So how did that work for Witchblade? Because I know it also got like an anime. Are the two related? Was it the Witchblade comic that came along first?
Yeah, the comic was where he created the character, and they had a TV show, I think, in the 90s. And it's not very well known, but I've heard about it like recently in interviews and stuff. But like I hadn't heard about it when it was coming out, so I had no clue. I didn't even follow Witchblade much because, to be honest, like when he left Marvel to draw, he created Cyberforce. That's the other thing he created, and I actually preferred when he was inked by Dan Green, like we saw in the Wolverine comic. But when he goes to work to found his own studio with Image, he gets another inker to finish his stuff, and it really changed his style. Like he started looking much more Jim Lee, much more slick, and at the same time, he looked like a lot of the other artists doing that stuff. And I think Dan Green gave him much more of a grittier look that I preferred on top of his pencils. Is this Ghost of the Badlands?
Yeah, I believe that's Ghost of the Badlands. It looks like George's art.
Billy Bob, are you muted? I've never heard.
He may be
I
on.
was muted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never heard you stay silent for so long. I'm like, he must be muted. He must be like trying to talk and not realize.
Yeah, I forgot I had it on mute. Like I said, I'm still not a fan of his hair drawings and shit.
Yeah, it's a little bit spaghetti.
But I do like the expressions and
Yeah,
stuff.
you can feel the emotion. That's the most important thing, I think.
This panel looks really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even the first one right next to it as well. That's a really cool perspective, because this is a perspective shot. You're right next to his knuckle, seeing the gun in perspective go underneath his jaw. It's not easy to draw underneath the jaw. That's one of the hardest perspectives to do on a head. Yeah, that's very good. See, he has these excellent shots, and those are the best artists, man. The best artists don't always succeed. They do bad panels from time to time. The same thing as me. But man, when they pull off their shots, they got fucking greatness, man. It's just
overall, I like the art in the book and George's. It's just, some nitpicks. Yeah, that's all it really is.
I think every comic you can nitpick, right? It's very rare that you find excellence all throughout. I mean, there are, like, Moebius is almost without reproach sometimes. There are a few, but most artists you can nitpick something here or there. I don't think the goal is to make everything look perfect. I think if you can really convey the story, the feeling, the mood, and that's way more important than trying to make everything look perfectly real. Look at the emotion. She's sobbing through her eyes, through her nose. It's intense.
I also love the contrast here. It's showing her basically breaking before him, and he's just having that sort of like stony mask of an expression.
Yeah.
Well, now he has a little bit of like, ooh, don't want to do this,
Well, he's still trying to remain stern.
See, I love those panels on the left where he's cocking the hammer.
Yeah, I think he did research.
They had
guns and stuff.
I think he must have had a sample gun or something. It looks really good.
I think he made a few 3D models just so he could get a better understanding of how they worked.
Yeah, I think he had different sized ones for the perspective for different shots. Yeah, I remember him talking about it during an interview. It's got a lot of personality in there.
Like his thing, the beards and stuff I like when it comes to it. Do think they look pretty good. Same thing with the eyebrows.
I like the shape of the head. Like it's not just perfect oval. You got that little extra bump on top there.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Also, he has ham fingers, man. They will bash your
Yeah.
fucking face to pulp, you know? Look at that.
You don't want him to stick his finger in your eye.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about, Otter, where it's kind of like they're like the Shadow. I mean, huge inspiration, of course. Very obvious.
yeah.
You have the Ghost, and he has like his agents and stuff, and they all.
He's got like a syndicate network.
Yeah, that like also supply information and shit. The only thing I don't like is, I know it's a sweater, and I think it's supposed to be like a wool like pattern. Yeah, it just kind of looks like he has like it's just his skin, and he has random dots on there.
Oh no, I see the sweater really easily.
I see the sweater.
Like this, because he's also wearing an apron.
Okay, that panel does look. It looks a bit more kind of like skin there. I see what you mean there. It's because he's wearing the clothes and then the apron over on top of it.
Like here's the thing, color will fix that and make it very prominent. It's just black and white. I just remember having to double check and be like, does he have like a weird spot condition all over his body? You know?
Right. Maybe some texture on the line of the sweater might have given away.
Right.
The black and white works really well. Like it almost looks like it's a colored comic that was just like turned into grayscale, because it's not just the inking here. We're seeing it's a well rendered black and white,
Right.
with grays and all kinds of shades. And the rain scene. See, I have a minor nitpick in the first panel.
Oh, all right.
I kind of would have liked something stamped on the coin.
Oh yeah.
That is fair. It's right in the middle of the panel too.
Yeah.
I know I have problems with the rain, but this shot is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
I also like the lead up to that panel. You're kind of getting these close up angles of both kind of like this sort of like gunslinger character, along with kind of like grabbing up his purse of coins, and then all of a sudden this wide shot, stark contrast in the rain.
It's so cinematic.
It is.
You can hear the rain. You can like imagine the sounds of the horses like stepping in the mud.
Yeah, this one's better because at least he's keeping it all in one direction
Yeah.
with the rain.
But you got me second thinking the rain, because I've got rain coming in the next page, Billy Bob. After
Yeah,
this
but
one.
I've seen your rain and it looked pretty good.
Well, I'm gonna have to make sure I don't.
Well, I
fuck it
saw
up.
the penciled version. I haven't seen the ink version of it, but I saw the penciled version.
Yeah, and there are issues with the pencil version. Like it's kind of shorthand for what I'm gonna do in the inking phase.
My biggest problem is just it. I mean, it just looks like scratch marks.
Yeah, that's what you don't want. Yeah.
I'm not a complete fan of the smoke effect there. It's like certain smoke stacks I
I'll be
like,
right back.
others I'm not the biggest fan of.
This one, the background looks really good.
Yeah, it's just the one on the right that I'm having a bit of mixed feelings on. It just looks very blurry, not it looks very like unrendered compared to the rest of them.
Right. I also think you could have done the flames a bit better on the burning corpses.
Yeah, I agree.
I just love his expressions. He draws
Yeah,
in
the
this comic.
expression is really good.
What did Animated Moon showed us? Someone else, the fucking Batman comic that had that like really god awful gun in it. Do you remember that, Frederick? Am I on mute still?
No, you're not. Frederick's on mute though.
Oh, Frederick, you're on mute. Oui, bonjour.
He may be away for the moment.
Did he say it? He didn't let us know.
No. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Umbrella
what's
Cat, you got
going on there.
anything you want to say? Is there anything you don't like about the smoke and shit and flames?
No, I agree with the one on the right. It looks like it's not rendered to the same amount as the other ones. As for a reason why, I'm not entirely for sure.
I think it's the
background's done.
shading. There's no hatching that gives it any kind of like fidelity.
Oh, I think that's Frederick.
Yeah, I'm right here. These are
Like I
great,
said,
great characters.
his beards and shit, top notch.
Yeah,
I think in general he's really good at drawing faces.
yeah. Faces with character, like they're not generic. They're very unique.
It is kind of like a mix of like manga and
You could tell there's influence, but it's not like straight up. It's kind of subtle.
I think
it-
kind of
well, it's
it skips a problem that I have with a lot of indie comics that are inspired by manga, where it feels like it's sort of like an inferior imitation of manga. This is not that. It takes what it wants, uses it deliberately, and puts its own spin on it.
Yeah,
Here's showing the direct perspective of her looking
it's
up
like
at him.
inspired by manga, but he's not trying to be manga.
Right.
That's the shot of from her perspective of that scene. Earlier.
Yeah, he does a lot of those.
I think it would have been a really cool detail if he was able to actually show the bullets
Oh yeah,
in the chamber. I mean,
True.
you can kind of see it.
You can
Yep.
kind of see it.
you'd get maybe a speck of light where it would reflect on the tip.
Right.
It's very cinematic. I think that's his main strength.
There's some gore.
Yeah, that's like pretty hardcore.
I also like how sparse dialogue is in this. It's kind of a gripe I have with a fair few comics where there's too much dialogue packed into each panel. It can work. But
Yeah.
This one does it moderately. It's not too much.
a lot of
I
what
don't want to hit Shadow of the Conqueror too much because it is an adaptation of a novel. So usually those tend to have even a little too much, dialogue and shit, and speech bubbles and captions and thoughts and shit. To try to include.
it's something I will give Micus Miller for not putting in too. From what I've seen, there hasn't been a whole lot of exposition dumps because Shadow of the Conqueror it's something you could argue is a new writer's mistake, is putting in a lot of info dumps. Shadow of the Conqueror has a lot of that. And I mean, the fact that he didn't lay every panel with that is a testament to trying to keep.
Well, it's also because he wants to actually get the book done and not spend
Right.
300 pages just getting through part one, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to cut somewhere. or else
Gotta
it's gonna
learn
be a
to cut
long
corners.
project.
I really like his the rendering of the sky and shit.
Yeah, that does look really nice. I also like the shadows for kind of like how the canyons and ravines looks. It's I don't know, it draws the eye in a nice way.
Yep. You
People-
feel the landscape is real. It's not. It doesn't feel like it's from his imagination. You can tell he went there.
Yeah, he did. He done the trip or even around the Canyon Diablo site, didn't he? Where the town originally was.
I know he talked about it.
I think he actually did it. If I remember correctly.
It was like the interview he had. I'm trying to remember whether it was with Nerdrotic or if it was Katie Room or someone. He was talking about kind of like going there and noting how it felt to kind of like walk around the place, how hot it was, kind of like hearing the sound of horses kind of like moving along. He wanted to soak in all of that, so like whenever he actually sat down to draw it, he could kind of like recall all of it just by memory.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
how George just draws the expression in his style. The
Isn't that
expressions
great,
on the
man?
face.
That's so extreme.
It's one that's a bit closer to how he draws his political cartoons, but it's not too extreme, if that makes any sense.
No,
Look,
it
you
looks
can
like
see
it
the
fits.
spit.
It looks like it fits into a movie. Like it's perfect.
Look at the spit.
Yeah.
Got the detail on there.
Yeah, there's speed lines on the tongue, or shadow lines.
Also, that's a one-liner if I've ever seen one.
Name Paul.
This is great, man. Look at them getting hit. The movement is good. Blood splatter. It's
Yeah,
like a
this is weird.
snapshot in time.
Clearly, where he's doing the slanted manga speed lines.
And the panel even breaks out. Like the panel breaks out further to the right, to the left. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a subtle detail, but it works really well, just kind of like conveying that motion. Another thing I really like is it almost looks like the bullet is wrapping around the page, if that makes any sense. It's shooting past the far edge, and then it's coming back around in the panel below.
Yeah. That's very strong.
All right, now here's some from A World in Ice and Fire. I just love pretty castles and mountains.
Castles are cool. Dragons are cool.
Yeah. Love the castles.
Mountains are fucking great. Yeah, this one I was a bit confused. I mean, it's just supposed to be an establishing shot of the pits below the Red Castle. The tourney grounds.
Yeah. You got the dragons in the sky up above. You got not one, but two castles on the horizon.
That's
Maybe-
the Septa Baelor.
Oh, right.
Big-
That's Sept, yeah.
That's Red Keep.
Also, just the color palette here compared to the Song of Ice and Fire graphic novel, it's like night and day. There's a lot more color and things going on. There's a lot more movement.
Well, this is this is from A World in Ice and Fire. It's just a in-world history book, so these are just painting illustrations.
Yeah.
Really well done. Look, you got them playing little horsey down there.
Then
These
soon
are just
after,
like-
one of them's going to behead their horse.
Well, this guy will behead somebody and then fuck your wife.
And then eat the corpse.
Dude, I would love if they eventually cover this king. You think Robert was a fucking like gluttonous whore? This fucking king is.
I feel like Robert was there at the beginning to just say, yeah, this guy, he may look bad now, but in the long run, yeah, he's not so bad.
Well, I mean, he is kind of the reason why the realms is
That
like
is
in
true.
massive debt.
Just very incompetent as a king.
Yeah, there's a little bit of reflection in that helmet.
Yeah, there's a lot of very, faulty people in Game of Thrones. That's kind of what makes it interesting.
Yep.
I was thinking of going back and rewatching the show and just the opening sequence with all the different structures from all the camps animated in sort of this mechanical way with the theme song playing in the background. It was a really strong opening. I remember
It
how
is.
excited everyone got when it started playing.
I need to read book 2. I've watched a lot more of the TV series than I have read the books. I
Book
read the
2's my
first
favorite.
book like half a year ago or something, and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I am one of those people who usually hates kind of like the sort of like standard gray morality, but A Song of Ice and Fire is, at least earlier on, it's handled a lot better. At least I don't know how it gets later on, but earlier on, it's like, oh yeah, these feel like flawed human beings, but still people.
Are you talking about in the books?
Yeah.
I like them all. It's one of it is my favorite fantasy series.
And what's frustrating with Game of Thrones, but like in the best possible way, when I say frustrating, it's seeing the most evil and vile characters get away with stuff while the good people get sometimes the worst luck in this world.
This was a Dunk I was talking about because they're doing a Dunk and Egg show, and eventually one day the show will cover this moment.
That's a cool shot, man. The white armor looks great.
Yeah, hopefully they'll actually have the Kingsguard all in white like they're supposed to. I kind of hate it in Game of Thrones where they weren't.
I don't know how I feel about the antlers. It kind of looks cool on first glance, but then when you start thinking about it, I don't know.
But there's an in-lore reason for it.
Okay.
So the idea is supposed to be in Song of Ice and Fire in general. I don't actually blame Game of Thrones at the beginning because it was you got to keep budget in mind. But in the actual books, the lords are supposed to have these ridiculously stupid fucking helmets, like these ornaments on it. So of course the stag is House Baratheon, so the fucking dude wears it on it. It's not really supposed to be practical at all, and even they reference how kind of stupid it is.
Well, symbolism is everything for their family houses.
Like to give you an example, Ramsay is wearing a fucking flayed man armor in the books. Like it looks like a flayed man. The entire armor's done. So
strange.
That's why it's like that.
Gotcha.
Just the lore.
That makes it interesting, especially if they're self-aware of the ridiculousness of it. It makes it make sense in a way.
Another advantage is you can easily put together who's fighting who. So in like that
also,
one page
these artists
up there,
keep drawing like a thumb for some reason. Like I don't know how they done it. Can you tell me how they done that, Frederick?
How did it what?
How they kept drawing like a realistic thumb in these paintings every now and then.
What, you mean the shape of the buildings?
It's a kawinky of a goddamn
thumb.
dink.
You see the thumb right here? You see how realistic it's drawn and painted and colored and everything, you know?
Oh, you stupid fuck.
Yeah.
I think they used AI.
They used AI?
Yes.
I thought you were talking about the shape of the building that looks like a thumb. I'm looking, searching, and then you just mocking me.
Confirmed AI
I love
art.
this one. I love how he's able to make the wall have that glistening with the ice and shit.
Yeah. Okay. You were telling me about this image, I believe.
Yeah, I
talked
showed
about-
animated moonless. This one I really fucking like because you got
Yeah.
the sun over here, setting, and it's scattering across.
Does
well.
look like ice. Yeah. Very cool.
I mean,
the staircase
fun.
looks like stitches from afar.
but keep in mind this is compressed, so it's even lower. It's a little bit lower quality than one that actually is in the book. Also, it's because they're interconnecting, zigzagging up. That's how they are in the book.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's kind of an interesting aspect to it.
And these are from Fire and Blood.
Yeah, I love that dragon face, man.
That's Gary Johnny's artwork, isn't it?
No, that's the
No?
Gary Gianni did the illustrations for the Hedge Knight.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, that's right. That's right.
Them I really love. I don't know. I won't do it tonight, but probably next stream I'll even give the character descriptor paragraphs and then have you read that, and then I'll put up the illustration. Like he captures exactly what you think they're described as.
Oh, that sounds great, man. I love
In
to
general,
compare
I'm a
those.
big fan of Gary Gianni's artwork. I've seen what he's done for both The Shadow and Solomon Kane. It's really stellar stuff.
I don't know who done the illustrations in the Fire and Blood and the World and Ice and Fire. These are definitely originally colored and then grayscaled. I don't know if they were originally completely black and white.
That's great lighting. Love that sharp contrast.
I love the architecture in the background. I think
Mhm.
the shadows and the lighting for it really make it pop.
Yeah, smoke looks good as well. Those are just black and white. Ah, that would look great in color.
I mean, these ones are black and white in these in that book illustrations. However, I think to me they look like they're originally colored and then they grayscaled them, into the book for black and white. That's what I feel like.
It's
I feel like I
quite
could probably
possible.
find Umbrella Cat. What do you think?
Sorry, what was the question?
Do you think these were originally colored and then grayscaled into black and white? In the book for the illustrations. Originally, these are color. Kind of look like it.
It's kind of hard to tell, to be honest. Just because it could be either way. I know one reason I prefer working in grayscale instead of color is like it's easier to see your values that way.
Right.
So I'm not entirely sure because is this just artwork in the actual? Is it a graphic novel?
No, this is an actual novel, but these are the
Oh.
illustrations throughout it of the
Oh,
scenes.
okay. I'm not entirely for sure then because he could have just done it initially in grayscale and just left it like that, or he could have done it in color and edited it later. That way, you could use either version depending on like black and white for the novel, and then colored for promotional work or whatnot.
Right.
Yeah,
I
it's
might
hard to
have
say.
Yeah, looking at it, to me, it works so well in black and white that it makes me think that it was done in that way. If not, it really translates really well. Like
By the
you
way,
mentioned-
I
Yeah, go
love
ahead.
how this cat is turning out.
Trying to fix his eyes because they look a bit wonky. I know this shadow is not.
Well,
Go
I
ahead,
mean, he
Frederick,
just
I
can't.
cut
Hold
you
up.
off.
What is going on? Are you trying to kill this cat?
Hmm?
Are you trying to kill this cat?
What do you mean?
Why is he burning the filter?
Burning the filter? What do you mean?
Or is he supposed to be?
The cigarette is backwards.
Yeah.
It's backwards.
You trying to
do you
kill
mean?
my cat?
What do you
No,
mean
I
it's
Trying to kill
backwards?
my cat.
I think that's where he's actually smoking, and it's kind of like burning up the
It's
cigarette.
ashes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the ashes.
Is that supposed to be the ashes umbrella? Or
I
is the
looked up
cigarette
a
backwards?
I looked up a reference, and is this the way? Isn't that right? Or
No, the filter, the dark part of the filter with the texture, that's where you actually put in your mouth. The
oh,
white strip papers.
you can tell I've never smoked, so.
You try to kill the cat. Trying to
Well,
put a fucking...
I had it the other way around initially, and I was like, that doesn't look right. And I actually looked up a picture, so I had it right originally. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll have to fix that.
They had it this way in Fifth Element. In Fifth Element, they kind of mock how the cigarettes are getting smaller and smaller, and the filter takes 80%.
Well, they weren't. He wasn't lighting up the filter. It was like the
No,
whole
no.
fucking cigarette was like a
Reduced
pinky.
in size, where the filter was taking up 80%. Yeah.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's the parody kind of on
I'll have to find.
tobacco control.
No, meow, meow. Yeah, this is definitely gonna be our thumbnail umbrella.
Okay,
Or
so
new
it
one.
needs to be. Well, it would be more down here, wouldn't it? And then the white would be up here. It'd end right there, about. I'd say. Then this part.
Poor kitty cat, he almost died.
Poor kitty cat. He doesn't know how to smoke.
I think we caught it just in time.
All right, let's check on Frederick. What he's doing. See what you're working on, boy. See you inking some more.
Yep, I'm doing the
Inking all
outline
over this
for.
page. We're gonna have to put XXX on the description because you're inking all over the stream, Frederick.
Inking with righteous indignation.
You know what? I need to get not Frederick. I need to get Frequency to clip me the thing from Finding Nemo. You made me ink.
Oh yeah, that's a good one to have. I've started collecting video clips. I'm starting to think of doing my own draw streams like Animated Moon does, and I love doing these with you guys. And I eventually want to do my own. And so I'm starting a collection of songs and videos, that clips that I can add at the beginning and end and stuff.
Hello, you order Chinese food? Oh, we got our food here. It's cold outside. Oh, you fat fuck. You got egg roll, you got dumplings, spare ribs, you got everything. Everything.
Yeah, yeah, you got to have your collection of clips at hand at all times.
Yes.
Exactly.
See, I'm lazy. I don't really want to learn how to properly do the clips myself, so I just send the video to Frequency and be like, all right, I want this time clipped from here
That's
to
why
here.
we have clips like this.
Ain't no black protagonist in Nintendo games, boy.
Oh, damn, that's so wrong on so many levels. But it's funny as fuck.
This one as well.
No, I'm not going to tell anyone. You know what people will say if they found out I tried to fuck a ready boy and it turned out to be a ready girl?
Illegal in
That's why
Canada.
at the end.
I know, it's just fucking hilarious. Frequency left in the and the cuts right off.
Yeah, that's a good clip too. Yeah, I'm taking my time with this because I don't want to go too fast. Don't want to make any mistakes. Going slowly with the outline, trying to make.
Well, I mean, if you do make a mistake, I think you're gonna be pretty pissed with Birdman's feathers.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be much of an issue. I think I'm going to use one of these Tombow. So it's kind of like it's just like a variable with. Let me put my hand behind.
Frederick, you were wanting to mention your pen, and then Umbrella was wanting to mention you had new markers.
Yeah, I got a couple of pens. I got one today, and I got some earlier this week. Where are they? Oh yeah, here we go. So this is It's getting dark in here. Let me just turn on the lights. You can start, Umbrella, if you want. I'll just turn on the lights here for a second.
I was going to say that I did get me some new alcohol markers for the first time in forever. I was trying to look up. Yeah, is this kind? Let me get a larger picture. Maybe it'd be just best to paste it on here.
That is a cool cat.
Yeah, I got some of these.
These alcohol markers?
Yeah, they're the brand is called Artify,
Artifact.
which I happened to see someone using them on talking about like art materials and whatnot. It's like, you know what, those look really nice. Thought I'd give them a go. They seem to like produce really well, like blends into different colors, transitioning and whatnot.
Yeah, because alcohol markers, that's their property. They blend really well. You'd never see this the streaks of the pen. It just makes one nice unified color.
Yeah, I've had. This was years ago that I got some of the Copic markers, like a small set, but they're so expensive, and I actually wasn't that impressed with them. I mean, they worked okay, but they were still a bit streaky. And I've tried other alcohol markers, and they worked just as well, and they were a lot less expensive. So it's like, you know what, I'll give these a go. And I'm not done any illustrations with them just yet. But I'll have to try them out here soon. Yeah. I was swatching the colors just the other day, and they seem to be really nice, quality and everything. So I'm excited to try them out. But yeah.
Very nice.
Cool.
Oh, I'm wondering, does this cat you're drawing, does he have a name?
Not sure. Not sure just yet. Any suggestions?
Frederick, do you have any suggestions?
Le Minou.
Pierre?
Pierre le chat. Gaston.
I really like the idea of naming him Gaston.
I have an uncle called Gaston.
We can also compare him to Gaston and Berserk.
And I think that's the name of the evil dude in the
Beauty and the Beast.
Hunchback of Notre Dame. Is it a Beauty and the Beast? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because it's kind of the same story as Hunchback. Yeah.
No one fights like Gaston.
Yeah. Do you want to see my pen, Billy Bob?
I think he's away, but I'll go ahead and
Oh, you got the controls.
I'll go ahead.
So-
and-
This is a. Can I see it well in the light? Okay.
Oh yeah.
So this is a Pentel. Well, the light's pretty harsh.
Ooh.
It's a really fine, sharp, like brush pen. So it's not refillable. Let me grab a piece of paper that is in the comic book. Okay, this will do. Okay. Let me just show you what it does. So it's really thin, so I can do like really thin strokes, and then I can like,
Oh, that's clean.
yeah. So it's really nice. I bought a box of 10 or 12 for like $15. So they're really cheap. They're Japanese as usual. And it's Pentel. It's called Brush Sign Pen Artist. They're meant to be like throwaways to do calligraphy with, but I haven't tried it on an original artboard, but
Frederick,
playing around with them.
Right.
And I got another
Frederick,
pen
did
as well.
I tell you the story?
Which story?
I showed my mother some of the Berserk art. Showed her
Yeah?
quite a bit. She saw now this was a later one, and there's like a later drawing of Griffith in like the later volumes. My mother, I showed her like the princess and shit, And then the next page, she was like, "Oh, so that's the princess," and she pointed right to Griffith.
Yep,
Like, oh, that's a woman.
that's
no, the man.
But it is the princess.
How am I going to fuck a Rady boy when it turns out to be a Rady girl?
See, this is the pen I use the most. It's a Pentel brush. So these are refillable cartridges. And I got a second one today, like golden kind of finish. So it's nice to have one on hand. Like if you're the one, like, I don't know, if you lose it or if it breaks or something. But it's also nice to have like one when they start to run out of ink, you can get this nice kind of dry brush effect. So you don't want always to recharge the cartridge, but sometimes you need another one with a full cartridge and another one you can dry brush with and stuff. So gotten another one of these. It's about $20.
Yeah, those look incredible.
Yeah, I like it because you can get basically everything you get from a brush, but it's like cartridge, so you don't have to keep dipping it in ink to refill it. So I love that aspect of it. And they're all fucking Japanese pens. They're all almost same company, Pentel. Like the two I showed you tonight are like Pentel.
I don't have any Japanese pens. I have a few Korean pens though, and they're really fucking good.
Really?
The ink quality is really good on them.
You have Korean pens?
You've been holding out on us?
I think they're Korean pens. They may be Japanese. I could be dead fucking wrong.
There's some type of
I think you're wrong.
Maybe I'm wrong then.
Are you gonna fact check them, Umbrella?
I'm pretty sure they're Japanese.
Yeah, we need to follow up on
wrong.
this.
And I'm wrong.
Are you Japanese or Chinese?
Are you Chinese or Japanese?
Yeah, I was trying to remember if the characters on them, I'm pretty sure they're Japanese. Yeah, because Korean's very distinguishable from Chinese or Japanese. So
I don't know if I
also Otter ever since I talked about that the one drawing of like the Western cat.
Oh yeah.
Now it's got me thinking of like an actual comic.
I do.
You have
think
like
a good comic.
You have like a Western cat stuff, you know, cowboy Western, but it's like a kind of in like a world of like the Fallout, you know, kind of that futuristic 1950s post-apocalyptic with it.
Just call it some shit like the litter box. Only
oh damn.
now that I turn this on and off, I think it does look better with line art. Maybe a cleaned up sketch will look best.
Yeah, you can even have colored line art.
Yeah. I usually never do like straight up black for line art.
Racist.
For the line art, yeah.
Well, it's
How
too
dare
harsh
you whitewash
usually.
everything.
It's usually very harsh. So I will go with like a dark gray or a dark brown. It's usually what I end up doing. But I really enjoy working in grayscale anymore
Yeah,
whenever
I
I'm
saw
coloring.
a bunch of pens in grayscale at the art store, and I was thinking that I might get some. Try to do some pinups in gray tone and then add the color digitally maybe afterwards. Could be interesting.
I did want to ask you guys one more question. So, in your guys' opinion, what are some clear signs of some good or not so good artwork? Whenever you look at either a comic or just a sketch or an illustration, what are kind of like some of the first things that you look at to determine whether you actually like it or not?
That's a good question.
Maybe proportion or line work, I would say.
Very interesting answer, but it makes sense. Makes perfect sense, actually.
Usually it's hands and faces. like if the hands, if there's too many issues with the hands, it'll bother me. And same thing with the faces. Like I got to be able to empathize with the character, and that happens through the faces. So those are really important. But I think I'm very picky in terms of art and comics. Like I look through books a lot before I tend to purchase them. At least in person. Can't do that in certain circumstances online and stuff. But yeah, I
Well, to be
usually
fair,
want a book to inspire me on some level, like whether it's the colors, the theme, an original take on something. But I usually love books that will shine in one specific thing.
well, to be fair, on the see you later frequency, when you're doing
Later, Randa.
online, you can still look up the art because it's usually posted somewhere. You know,
Except if the producer doesn't release it in a new campaign and stuff. Like,
no, well, that's indie.
yeah.
Crowdfunding.
Okay, right.
I mean, like the
Bookstore and stuff. Comic shop.
Amazon, if you buy it at Amazon or whatever.
Yeah.
Usually find digital versions of the art. You can still check it out and see.
That makes sense.
Umbrella Cat.
Yes.
Otter's got his question.
What's the question?
She answered already.
Yeah,
Did
she already.
answer?
Yeah.
She answered with looking at the line work. That was one of the first things she looks at to tell whether it's good art or bad art.
Yeah, line work and proportion.
How much would you all say that eyes factor into the equation, especially when you're seeing a face? Do eyes play a big role, especially
Yeah.
for a character?
Yeah. The eyes are the windows to the soul. So it goes with the faces. It's like that's where you connect, I think, with the characters through the faces.
Coloring is a big factor as well. I mean,
That
you
is
can
true.
You can fuck up really good line art and work
That's true.
with bad coloring, like
Yep.
absolutely ruin it. You know.
Yeah, you can have good black and white, like you don't need color. But if you do add color, you can fuck it up. So make sure it adds to it. And same thing with inking. It's like when you ink your pencils, if you got a bad inker, you can go backwards in terms of quality, whereas a good inker will improve the actual pencils that were there.
And you usually only want one inker working.
Yeah.
If it's not the artist, you want one inker because that's kind of what happened with Alpha Core as well. You had like 6, or no, 4 or something. It was like fucking insane amount of different inkers.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't think that's common in the comic book space. I think the Rippaverse did that as it's going to vary the art a lot, and that's jarring. Even if it's at the inking, unless you have inkers that draw really well in the same style. Because I mean, some people have done it in Image in the past. Like you'd have inkers switch up, and it can work, but it could be jarring as well, especially if the inkers have different styles and stuff.
Right.
But like Americans will change artists even in the midst of stories sometimes. Like so, that's kind of par for the course with American comics.
Right. Well, they have fill-in artists. They usually have a main artist and then someone who's, if they're doing something else and can't get it done, they'll have someone come in.
Yeah, and there's even like at the time that Wolverine was coming out, during those issues around 15 and all that, like they were selling so much that they started coming out with issues twice a month. So it wasn't the same artist doing both issues. You'd have a quote unquote B story or something drawn by another artist, and you'd have your main story come out every month still, but you'd have another issue of Wolverine in the meantime. I don't think that's great, but it probably made a lot of money.
Hold on. How would that work?
It does. It kind of breaks the flow of the story, and it's not the same artist, so it's kind of like
So it was just two Wolverine going on at the same time,
Kind
or
of, yeah.
was the writing for that would be actually painful because you couldn't end the other one on a cliffhanger because the other one that comes out that month as well would have to somehow fit in the continuity.
Yeah, I'm skipping. Like I'm collecting those. Like I was saying, for
Or was it another character's?
no. Same characters. Wolverine. No, I'm talking about the Wolverine series. So he's the title character. He's the one that's in the comic, and they actually switched them up. They were called bi-weekly because they were every 2 weeks, and but each one would increment the same number. So we're talking about the same comic, even though it's two parallel stories. And I'd have to go back to see like how well the breaks were between the stories. But I know this for a fact because I'm collecting those books, and I have to skip the ones where it's not the artist that I like.
Yeah, but that sounds fucking retarded.
Yeah,
Like, I can understand if like it was a side character or something, and they took them
Yeah.
away to do their own one, and they're like, hey, they'll connect each other throughout each month or whatever. Fuck.
it's definitely a product of greed. Like it's a decision that was made to double the income, and it probably worked because like the character was so popular. There was such a huge market that it probably made sense financially. And you usually don't get any, no one at the company will blame you for that usually.
Right.
But yeah, no, it doesn't make sense from the reader's perspective, obviously.
Like, from what I know, Hellboy actually did it right, where the spin-off series, it just had a spin-off series with the rest of the characters, the more.
Yeah, I mean the market's changed now. Like what I'm referring to is back in probably the peak of comics in the 1995, 96. Or I think what we were looking at was 92. It was like the early 90s was they were selling so many copies. Like a bestseller in today's terms would get canceled back in the early 90s.
All right, and I think this is going to be my last question for the night, but I know we kind of talked about it a little bit last stream, but Frederick Umbrella, what would you say was the artist that influenced your work the most?
I'm airing that shit, so that's what happened.
Oh, fucking internet.
Hold up.
Well, it's still live, so that got that going.
That is true.
Otter, the only ones can end it. We had that problem with Christian on what stream was it?
That was the fourth wing stream. Yeah, his internet
he
kept
was losing
fucking
connection,
up.
but the
stream
now my internet's back.
going.
I think he was just sick of the book. He didn't want to talk about it anymore, and he didn't know how to tell you guys.
All right, my internet's back, so now.
The artist that influenced me the most. That's still a large question.
I'm willing to bet maybe Mobius was one of those artists.
Well, he's for sure. Like I admire him a lot, but have I taken a lot from his stuff? I don't know. He's so unique that you can't take Mobius without becoming like part of Mobius in a weird way. I kind of like Todd McFarlane comes to mind as well. Because
Mobius is love. Mobius is life.
Yeah, I mean, because Mobius is one of those artists that kind of his stuff is picture perfect. Like it's hard to find a flaw in his stuff. Whereas Todd McFarlane stuff, he's got a lot of ugly panels and ugly ass eyes and hands in some places and stuff. But Todd is weird because he takes the character and treats it a little bit like a Raggedy Ann doll and like flips it and stretches it in weird ways. And he did stuff with Spider-Man that I think influenced me a lot in the sense that it's where I stopped with McFarlane. It kind of got me to stop trying to draw everything picture perfect and then realize what it meant to draw for comics. And I think that was a big aha moment.
So
that I
like
got.
this one, for example,
Is that a McFarlane?
I believe it's Todd McFarlane. I hope
Yeah.
it is.
Could be.
I don't like the head. It doesn't really match with the rest of the drawing.
Yeah,
That
the
is
head
fair.
doesn't look like a Todd head for sure. Because he was known for making the big wide ass eyes. So I'd be very surprised if this was a Todd. This might be Todd influenced, but I'd press X to doubt.
Maybe accredited to Todd, but it might not be him.
Yeah.
No, pull that back up, bitch.
All right.
Zoom in it because the Spider-Man head really just does not.
It looks
fit well with
pasted
the
on. Yeah. It looks pasted on. That looks like a John Romita head.
Why is
Yeah.
his head so long? Like his chin is all the way down to his sternum.
It's
Is
incredibly
that his chin
pointy.
or is that?
Now somebody pasted the John Romita head over somebody else's body. It looks to me. Because
Yeah, it has to be Photoshop.
it's McFarlane eyes are very, very different than that. I don't.
That's Carnage. That's not even supposed to be Spider-Man. It's,
Yeah.
So somebody's been fucking with this panel.
Yeah, I don't even think it's McFarlane, to be fair. I'm not sure. I'm doubting. We have to verify.
There's doubt on that one.
Yeah, yeah. The head's clearly something off with the head. The rest, we'd have to dig closer. But yeah, love that he really played with the medium a lot. He had some of the most exciting panel work as well. So for sure. I mean, Jim Lee was one as well who's influential, but his stuff is almost a bit too, like, he had a formula down so perfect. Like, he had really good looking dudes and hot sexy chicks, but they were so perfect they kind of all looked like each other.
They were all perfect in the same way, basically.
Yes, kind of like cookie cutter. All the men had the same jaw, the same chin, nose, and stuff.
So all the chicks were basically like, hey guys, I made this cookie cutter chick with like double D breasts, very wide hips, always in dynamic poses, showing her ass, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and he was very good at it. Like, he was one of the best. But they all kind of look alike. That's kind of the flaw in Jim Lee's perfect renders, you know.
The Umbrella Cat answer?
I don't think she did, actually. What do you think, Umbrella?
Artist that most influenced my style
Yeah.
or my art? I think I may have mentioned it last time, but
I think you did.
Katsura Hoshino. She influenced my art the most.
All right, you got to work with her? You can show us?
Yes, I can. I can bring it up here in just a second. Let me find it.
I'm also
Instead
looking
of
up some
bonjour, it's
panels.
meow. Is that what it would be, Frederick?
Say again?
Instead of bonjour, it's meow.
Meow jour is pretty good. It's French is miou, so MIOU. Miou.
You say MEOW?
MIOU. Oh, that's badass.
She's just fucking. Okay, that was just funny.
Just how she dragged it on the screen.
That was funny.
Yeah, she is the mangaka for a series called D. Grayman, but just her art has like influenced me the most, just in how, I guess,
Tolerance, well.
the way in which it's clearly manga, but the proportions for the most part are pretty realistic at the same time.
Right.
And she herself, like, I actually have an art book. This is from the art book of the series. She talks about how she was influenced by, I forget his name, but he's the artist for Death Note. And you can kind of see that in the same way. Like, you can clearly tell it's manga, but realistic proportions in the character designs.
Death Note artist. Let me look it up. His name.
I always forget his name, but I
Holy
immediately
shit.
know the style of art.
Takeshi Obata,
Yes.
and then Samugi Ahoba.
Mm,
That's two creators I'm saying, but one of them is probably the writer and one of them is probably the artist.
I think Obata is the artist, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, it looks like it. Looks like the other one's the writer.
Yeah.
Yep,
But
he's the writer.
yeah, I really love Katsura Hoshino's art, and she is the one that I showed you that her style very much started out, like, the only way I can describe it was gothic almost, but she's grown as the series has progressed. And yeah, I just like her art more and more. I always really like this.
Well, there are some really good illustrations here that I'm seeing from Obata here.
Love seeing the
Pull up a few of
evolution
them.
of an artist as well.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
Very graphical composition. The knife is so close. And
Yeah.
Did someone cut off?
yeah, that's cool. That's very
Don't touch the Nemo! He touched the butt.
All right, I'm
Frequency,
gonna
clip that. Before he left, he sent it to me.
I'm gonna show a couple of these from Obata just to give you an idea, and then one of them is not from Obata, but it's still Death Note, just somebody doing a really bad imitation of it. So this is one panel. I can probably zoom in a bit more. Well, I think I can.
And that's a fan one.
Oh, I think that's the official artwork.
No, that's his work.
Oh, I saw Tumblr or something, so I thought maybe that's the fan. Maybe you're starting it out with the fan one.
Also
or somebody
trying-
shared it, maybe.
Ooh. Let's reset the size on that. I got that fucked up. No, it's still fucking Tumblr. God damn it.
Jesus,
damn it.
Otter. Jesus. All right, back to the cat.
There we go.
Here, I can show you the bad one if that helps. Here's the bad one.
Whoa.
No, that looks like it could have been done by AI.
It looks like they photoshopped someone over.
Kind of creepy.
It's
It
creepy
really is.
because he's keeping the anime style hair and all that shit, and even keeping Ryu the anime. But he decided, hey, fuck it, I'm gonna.
Make a realistic face and smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little uncanny valley.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got gives him a little bit of a psycho stare, but
This
at the
one
same time,
looks
it's
so
Death
hilarious.
Note, so it kind of makes sense.
It reminds
Now,
me of
picture in
where
your
I.
mind. Picture in your mind like how he's holding that pen.
Oh yeah, that could be AI. Yeah.
Also, what the fuck is going on with those fingernails?
Also,
look-
why is his hand
Look
like
painted on.
Why is his hand the size of like 3/4 of his face?
The hand seems to be the right size.
Yeah, it looks right.
It looks big.
Well, yeah, it might be big, yeah. But it's not monstrously so. Actually, it might be, it's pretty close, man.
I just don't like the face. That's the only thing I really don't like about it.
Yeah, and his eyes seem to be looking above the book. Like he's not looking at what he's writing. He's looking straight ahead.
Why is there purple on Ryu's left eye?
That's probably AI. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen that shit with AI before, and that's actually kind of like that's like a bug with AI renderings.
Yeah, there's a good chance this is AI. Because why is he staring straight in front of him when his book is clearly under his chin, under his nose? But he's not looking at the book. He's not looking where his pen is writing. He's looking straight ahead of him.
I'll take a potato chip and I'll eat it.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Almost looks like he could be drawing something. He's looking at something and he's drawing it.
He's looking at a chunky cat.
He's looking at a tail.
It's gotta be it.
Yes, YouTube, that is a tail. Nothing else.
Don't give him ideas.
Don't know what you mean. It is a chunky tail.
This is what we call tasteful nudity.
I still haven't.
I don't think animals count as nudity.
Well, I talked with this with Animated Moon, but y'all remember the Twitch situation when they changed the rule to, and they specifically said allows tasteful nudity, and then immediately it was like them drawing people like their asshole gaming shit on the front page.
It was like that. It was like porn stars also basically barely obscuring their boobs and shit.
No. There was your that one was a little bit after that where they were allowing also it wasn't. Women just had their like shit all out there. Like there was no. It looked like a Pornhub fucking website on Twitch for like 12 hours.
24, right?
No, it wasn't a full 24. I don't think.
Okay. It didn't take that long.
No, it didn't take long at all. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure all the advertisers were calling like it looks like a goddamn porno.
But they didn't cut it off like they did their whole 20. Like I remember it being a full day somehow.
Maybe it was.
I think they allowed it for a full day and then they immediately changed it.
I mean, 12 hours counts as a full day. In like the rest of the time you'd be sleeping, you know. Oh, whatever.
I'm still trying to get used to the fact with digital art. I know that a lot of people who do digital art professionally and whatnot, oftentimes, and it does depend on the artist, they don't use any line art at all in their piece. Instead, they'll just clean up their sketch and kind of paint into it and blend it in.
Yep, just like a painting.
It's just, it's kind of, I'm so used to just doing line art. Like over this, I would do line art. And I don't know. I like the look of cleaning up a sketch more, though. So I'm trying to get accustomed to it and trying it more and more. It is pretty strange.
I want to see the finished version of this cat.
Well, I don't know if I have much more to do on him other than cleaning up the sketch a little bit, and then I'm going to color him.
No butthole on the kitty cat?
I may add one.
For the God, do not put a butthole on the cat.
We'll see.
If we had like a lot of viewership, we could go for a poll, but I think everyone would want the bumhole.
So athletic tits for me, cat butthole for you, Billy Bob. I hope you're happy.
You mean for you? It's your sister. Yeah, I can avoid it. Listen, I'm telling you this, Umbrella Cat. You put a butthole on it, everyone's gonna see it every time we do this stream.
That's why I say you should do it.
It's called marketing.
You know how they do the really shitty the red arrows on thumbnails and stuff?
Oh yeah, just point right there.
Yes, our entire thumbnail is just arrow pointing right to it. What
shall
could be
it-
there?
You're
shall
never gonna
forever
believe
be
this.
immortalized.
And then you title the stream "How to Draw Cat Bum Holes," and then
Uh.
watch the views come in.
Yeah, and then I put Umbrella Cat's link directly next to it.
Our
just
stream,
need-
the fractured but whole.
Yeah,
if
but
you
we get
just-
sued by Ubisoft at that point.
Just need to do a how-to drawing stream.
Yeah.
Do it. Do we? Back to prison and Birdman.
Yes. So drawing the contours. I'm trying to draw the contours a little, beefier than the interior lines to give it some weight.
All right. Boy, this would be really painful if we had to watch you ink in all them feathers, man.
Well, and you'd probably want to double speed it or something. But I can imagine we'd have wonderful conversations while I'd be inking these feathers.
Oh,
mean-
boy.
I mean, long, in-depth conversation.
That's more of an Otter thing. He likes that, you know.
Conversing.
Well, less of conversing and then long and deep, you know.
Otter's the one that likes people. Basically.
Oh boy.
Let's skip the conversation, go straight into the long and deep. Yeah, that's how it works.
Oh man. How much did you go back of rewatching the Fallout show?
I started watching episode 1, yeah, but I'm not through episode 1 yet. I have it like on the side.
So my opinion on the Fallout show has changed quite a bit. It's like the first time you watch it, I enjoyed it, but it's like the more you think about it, the more problems start cropping up. And there's some big problems too.
What are the biggest ones that come to mind?
Biggest one is how far are you into the show right now?
Well, I watched it all.
Oh, okay. So how Vault 32? What exactly happened to them?
So raiders came in and kind of like pretended to negotiate a trade with Vault 33.
Oh, I'll tell you why. All right, Otter, actually I will explain this. So the communist Marxist bitch, she was best friends or scissoring lovers with the Lucy's dad. Lucy's dad's wife.
Okay. And I'm guessing she was like, all right, time to break the truth to Vault 32.
So the entire time for fucking 12 years, I guess, took this planning. They had the Lucy's mom's access codes to the vault, to open it. That's how they were able to get in there. They massacred that other vault and then got into the Lucy's dad vault because the commie Marxist bitch knows that she needs the father because the father can activate the cold fusion shit.
Here's the thing though, Vault 32, they killed themselves. They weren't murdered by commie Marxist bitch.
Right,
Yeah,
they were
'cause they
already
found
dead.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they all spontaneously killed themselves or killed each other.
Yes. Somehow, I don't know how, but they did.
Well, I mean, you have
because there
weird
isn't really much of a
experiments.
security measure to Vault 31. It's just one robo brain with a syringe.
Yes.
But they don't need security measure because Vault 31 wasn't the one that got attacked. That's the one that the whole mystery is about. Like all these people who come from Vault 31 during hard times are always elected overseer, and it's because they're the wink, wink, nod, nod, honk, honk, most secure election in Vault history. You know.
All right. What about Vault Tech's overall plan? Their plan was management.
Yeah.
Management and
I'm
the
not saying their
apocalypse.
plan was smart in the show. I'm just explaining.
Apparently, the apocalypse is an opportunity to make a lot of money. Apparently.
Well, that's typical in the military industrial complex thinking.
It makes no business sense, though. It's incredibly fucking stupid.
No, I think you
but
have
Frederick,
to take
their
it with
plan-
the.
hold up.
That's
Their
the
plan
humorous
was-
part.
Their plan was they'd get rid of every other country, but also their entire population, and they have about, I don't know, 200 people to work with.
I mean, it makes perfect sense from a government point of view.
The problem is that their Vault Tech is like a business, and it's like they're wiping out all of their customers and then claiming they're going to make a bunch of money from them. It's like, no.
Well, they get
that's
the
not case.
resources. If you get rid of the people, you can just.
Yeah, but the resources were gone. That's the whole point of Fallout is.
Yeah. Well, you have to take that with humor. Like, to me, it's dark humor. Like, it's the stupidity of the state. I find that funny.
Well, it's kind of like, yeah, it's stupid, but it doesn't excuse bad writing necessarily, because it's like the script doesn't really point out the stupidity at all. It just kind of, if it's a parody, it's very unclear about it. It doesn't really do a solid job at explaining why they even came to that decision.
Right.
So what else did you have, Otter?
About the Fallout show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Commie Marxist bitch's plan. Her plan was very stupid.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to watch it a second time. Like the last episode, I thought was really confusing. Like I did not follow the whole spiel, the whole plan thing.
Her whole plan was like we said, the capture of the father. That was the greatest one to get because he's the most accessible one. Vault 31 they weren't getting to get him so he can put in the code for cold fusion to give power to the entire wasteland. That was her plan.
The only thing was their plan was really bad to get in the vault because it involved massacring loads of innocent people in the vault just to get one dude.
Right. I'm not saying that the fucking writers didn't really think this.
Yeah, but they wanted cold fusion, so they were going to kill how many people they need to get to the cold fusion, right?
Right, but the writers are also trying to make you sympathize with this commie bitch, and that she was correct.
I never felt an ounce of sympathy for her.
It felt it felt like at first it was trying to paint her as more of kind of like the standard villain, then the last few episodes it kind of did a 180 and said, oh wait, she's the misunderstood hero.
Yeah, well, see, we're getting to the woke stuff at this point, which I was hoping it would avoid, but there's a little bit of it. It could definitely go down a woke path for the second season.
It isn't really so much the case in the smaller stories, but the bigger story, yeah, it leans into it harder.
No doubt, I'll probably drop out if it starts to get too woke, but so far I'm enjoying the ride.
Well, if Lucy starts saying I don't need no man and all this other shit in season 2, I'm dropping out.
Oh yeah.
Just say, well, I mean, I like Lucy in season 1.
The actress is good. I've listened to them in interviews, except for one. Like, I can't stand Flynn. Like, I think he's a bad actor. Seriously. Flynn, the black dude, the stormtrooper guy.
That's Maxwell.
Yeah, I can't stand
Hold
him.
up.
Or
There's two
Maximus,
different black
Maximus.
people.
Wait, what?
That's two different black people.
There's only one black person.
Yeah, but you were saying Flynn.
Yeah,
I think
because it reminds me of Flynn from the Star Wars sequels.
I thought you were calling him that John Boyega and that actor are the same person. Like,
No, I know they're two different people. I just think the character is kind of very similar in the sense that he comes out of nowhere and has no real story behind him. Like, I like what they're putting him through. Like, but I
It's
think
just the character himself. It's like he has no moral backbone.
yeah, the character, the actor, I think is a I don't like blaming the actors when the problem is the writing, obviously, but I feel he's not bringing character to the character, the actor.
Well, it's like whenever he delivers his lines, it's like he has to deliver it in the most wimpy way possible.
Yeah,
if that
yeah.
makes any sense.
100%.
And I think that really adds on to why so many people don't like him as a character.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the Fallout show been compared to The Force Awakens a lot, to where it's like Finn is better than Maximus and Lucy is much better than Rey.
Oh, that's interesting.
well, hold up. First of all, Finn did have potential as a character. It's just they made him a janitor. And what was it? The Last Jedi.
Force Awakens.
Finn
No.
was a good character who got sidelined from his own potential.
Well, the idea of like a former stormtrooper and, like a former stormtrooper character and his like kind of redemption and shit. That's fucking cool. That'd been a cool ass character. It's not what we got. They immediately turned him to a janitor, pussy.
There's no redemption arc either. Like, and they tried to, or they insinuated that he might have some chemistry with the Rey character when they kind of bump into each other and they discover each other on the planet. But nothing ever goes in that direction ever again. Like, and they've even forced what's her name, like Asian chick, on him.
Oh, you talking about the Asian chick who SA'd him in the movie?
Yeah.
Like, do you remember the Umbrella Cat?
What is it?
With the Rose Tico SA'd the Finn and Last Jedi?
I don't even know if I've seen Last Jedi.
Don't. It's a horrible movie.
Don't.
I've seen whatever the first one of the new Star Wars was, and I barely remember that.
Good.
So-
Watch the original prequels.
Yeah, keep it that way. Your life is better for not having seen them.
Yeah, I
Actually,
didn't
just-
enjoy it, and I was like, I don't care anymore.
No,
It's just-
Even
feels-
The Force Awakens is just a forgettable remake of A New Hope.
exactly.
For me, it just felt like kind of same treatment they were given to like Marvel after a while. I was like, I don't care.
Yep.
Are you upset because the Force is female? Umbrella Cat.
Say what?
The Force is female.
Did they make the Force its own character?
No, that was part of a diversity and equity campaign. It was
From
part
Kathleen
of,
Kennedy,
yep.
the person who's the head of Lucasfilm.
It was part of their marketing. It was really fucking stupid.
Quote unquote marketing. It's more like anti-marketing, if you ask me.
It was appealing to the hyper feminists who were drooling over Star Wars.
Yeah, I just stopped caring about any recent Star Wars, so I have no knowledge.
Mm, Yep.
Last Jedi was pretty much a lot of people's like, fuck this.
I
Yeah.
think it was like The Last Jedi pissed off at least half of the fan base, and those that weren't pissed off were immediately pissed off with Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, pretty much, because no one liked Rise of Skywalker because it seemed to be just a response to The Last Jedi, but didn't conclude anything and didn't add anything. And it like the story seemed to give you whiplash. Like it just
Hold on.
goes from scene.
You tell me you didn't like the new detail that Palpatine, the disfigured fucking mutant Palpatine, bangs some chick.
No, that's the best part.
Oh yeah, Palpatine somehow returned.
Yeah, I mean, who cares why the main villain comes back in the movie when you expect him to be dead? Like no one cares about that stuff. You know, what we want to see is porgs or something.
We want to see
Yes,
Palpatine.
yes, good. My erection will soon be operational.
That's good.
Oh, you know what? We'll clip that and then we'll put we'll get James or one of them to edit in a video and they'll say "Gay Wars."
Somehow my erection returned.
Rise of Skywalker, he was so stupid. His death scene was stupid because he died. He should have learned this lesson. Like, stop shooting lightning into your face.
Well, didn't he just tell Rey that if you kill me, I will be in you or something? And then she kills him, and now he's in her.
Anakin's
No,
just like, is it possible to know this power? Not through Viagra.
so the
Not through natural means.
Actually, a lot of reviewers were getting this wrong because I actually watched the movie. It was understandable. What he was saying is he wanted Rey to be the new emperor, the empress, and that all the Sith will inhabit her.
I think you're trying to make it sound smarter than it is.
No, that's actually what it is in the movie. It's still stupid as fuck. Some people were trying to. One of them were trying to claim that like he was trying to possess her, but no, that's not what it was. It's literally the old wrinkly white man trying to give power to the oppressed woman.
Well, I'd have to watch it again to prove you wrong. So there's no way in hell I'm doing that.
I feel like with both Star Wars and Middle Earth, it's like surrounded by people who want to add on to it. The thing is, they have no fucking clue on how to write Star Wars or Middle Earth. They don't fully understand what makes those worlds as special as they are.
Yep, it's creation by committee. Like when everyone's in a corporation has access to a creative property, especially one that already has distinction and respect from its merit, they all want to put their hands and say, I participated in that too. I did the thing. And they have little understanding if they're like adding in a positive way or not, because they're not detached from it. They want to be a part of it.
I'm kind of glad with Middle Earth because most people who are seeing like Amazon fucking with Middle Earth are like, no, this is fan fiction. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
We're not even counting it.
It was the biggest pushback that Star Wars should have gotten.
Yes, Star Wars feels like a dead husk of what it once was, and it's legitimately sad.
I hug on to it a long time. Like now, I don't even care about the originals anymore. I'm just like, don't talk to me about Star Wars. I don't give a shit. I don't even want to hear the bad news. I'm just bored from it now. I'm just like, I'm done.
I count the original films and the expanded universe novels as all canon. As for everything that Disney has done, I'm saying fuck it. Like I'm not counting it.
Yeah, and with Lucas jumping into fray and backing Disney is the worst possible like PR move you could do. He's probably making $1 or so on the side from what they're doing, but yeah, it's just...
My guess is some of it's I wouldn't be surprised if some of it's kind of bitterness from where fans have attacked him so much.
Yeah.
I legitimately wonder if that's a big part of it.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, definitely, 100%.
What color did we want this cat?
White and black.
Make him a void.
Make them
Red.
white with black spots.
Red, white, and blue.
Black and white and red all over.
Make his beret red, the cat blue, and the bit of the tail white.
Do not make the cat blue. For the love of God, no.
That looks better than the.
Don't make him a turd cat.
I'll edit the color.
You're trying to turn it poo. We don't want poo cat.
You'll get poo if I say poo.
You'll get the cat you deserve, Billy Bob.
Ah, that's too dark. That's better.
You just give him demon eyes. It's just bright red eyes.
He's a Sith.
He's a Sith cat.
Well, he is French, so you know. Makes
Not
sense.
fair.
Wait, is this on the? No, it's. I hear a cat.
It's fucking Fredericks. It's starving. It hasn't eaten in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's really weird. Some Mogwai captured it and made it start reading My Immortal.
What?
I didn't get the reference, but it still made
I
me
got the
laugh.
reference, but I have no clue how that ties into a cat fucking screaming bloody murder.
Oh, that's yellow.
Bloody murder. He's like, hey, what's up? Mew. You're just over exaggerating the cat's meowing there.
Oh. Oops.
All right, I'll go feed the cat. I'll be right back.
I wondered why this looks so weird.
If you made Umbrella Cat watch the My Immortal.
Oh, I've watched it.
Oh. Fantastic storytelling, you know. You could really understand the character and her
I'm sad.
what was it? Count Chocula with blood otter is what she was eating.
Yeah, that was it. Count Chocula, but with blood instead of milk.
It's not flaming, okay?
I'm sad I
saw a-
wasn't able to be a part of it.
Don't worry, there's
I don't think we
others
even
out
knew
there.
you existed when we done it.
There's others out there we can tackle. We still
Oh,
got
boy.
the sugar-free Haribo gummy bears.
That is true.
Oh, we did do like that fan one we never finished. We were just each one wrote like a paragraph.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that. It's like
We
you
might need to get
immediately
back
got
on
a sense for everybody's writing styles, like within just one paragraph. That was it.
Well, I wouldn't say that exactly because I think me and you were exactly trying to copy it. Some of them weren't.
When Stormcrow was writing, I was like, "Oh yeah, I can tell this is Stormcrow's writing."
All right. Oh god. You know what? Definitely keep it red.
He's got
Listen, this is
Uchiha
gonna be great
eyes.
for the thumbnail, Umbrella. I'm telling you,
Say what?
it's gonna be great for the thumbnail.
I'm gonna have to fix these colors regardless. They're off. But what is this? What is this? What's this layer for?
I don't know. You're the artist. You tell me.
I'm bad for.
Oh, it's for the cigarette bud.
Oh,
So
yeah,
make
it's
it yellow.
barely there.
Yellowish orange is what a cigarette bud.
Yeah, it's like a. That color.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's the thing. I like working in grayscale, but then I always forget how to color it afterwards. Whoops.
It might need to be a little bit brighter.
I'll fix the colors. I'm just getting the color down. That one. overlay. And that is that.
Oui, bonjour.
Mais oui.
So
Mr.
some
Big Cat.
mighty red eyes. Oh, that was good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to adjust the colors, but get there.
All I gotta do is add a little bit of smoke coming off the cigarette.
Yeah, I'll do that here in a minute.
And no butthole.
So
You need to have like two different versions, one with the butthole and one without.
Reminds me of a movie. Is that referring cats, Otter?
Mhm.
Are you referring to the cat's butthole edit?
Well, obviously.
Yes, of course. I got that. That was so silly, though.
I immediately think of Dumb and Dumber 2. It's like, oh, nice cat. What's his name? Butthole. How did you come up with that name? Just lifts his ass up. Oh, yeah.
is that color so off?
Is that supposed to be red or orange?
I'll fix it.
Fix it in post.
He needs some cheese to go with that baguette. Maybe some red wine. I think I might be getting hungry.
You know what? I could actually see there being like a wine glass right next to him or something.
And he tips it over. He's tipping the wine glass over as he's
It's already tipped over. It's just spilling out onto the carpet.
Yes.
You have you have the where his tail is. You have a fallen over broken glass, and the wine's just dripping. Yeah, he hit it with his tail. He's too lazy to actually get up and slap it. You know.
What color you want his spray to be?
Berets are usually black. Sometimes they're communist red. You got military berets.
Let's just go with black. We don't want to go. We don't want to associate with the commies. Don't give him the what was it? The pussy hat color. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, that rings a bell.
Getting pretty commie red. Getting close to it.
Better dead than red.
Where is that from? Was that an old?
Exactly.
Probably from back in the day, anti-commie messaging.
Yeah, I know for a fact it's propaganda, but it's damn good propaganda too.
Well, that's the thing, is they turned out to be right, like the whole McCarthy era. Because all we got were the damn Hollywood movies of what happened, and Hollywood is full of commies, so of course they'd make him look like the bad guy.
It's even worse. They're not the original commies. They're like the children and grandchildren of the original commies. So it's like they're the commies with even less integrity.
Champagne socialists, we call them.
Yeah.
They like the luxury of capitalism, but the virtue signaling of the socialist.
Yes. They are the worst of both worlds.
Oh yeah. Yes. Let us unite against the champagne socialists.
They're the assholes that have billions in their bank accounts and will unironically say we need to rise up the working folk, you know?
Yeah.
That kind of bullshit.
Yeah,
Oh, you mean Hassan?
Yeah,
I was
basically.
thinking, what's her name? Ozazio Cortez, like her dress could eat the rich, but she's part
Oh,
of them.
AOC.
AOC, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, she is proof of the American dream. She was like a bartender and somehow still in Congress. So yeah, give
Hey,
it
that
some
beret's
credit. You know, you
looking
can
really
drift
good.
your way up.
Well, that's the thing. I originally made it light, so it's kind of hard to make it dark because I just removed the color entirely from it. Because, see, so it's just the grayscale on it. I'll keep that just in case I need it. I don't think I do. Yeah. What color shit is Osby?
Red.
Red?
No,
Maybe not.
cats don't have red eyes. I mean, yellow, green,
Yeah, give him like yellow eyes
Blue.
or something.
No,
blue
give him
eyes.
straight demon eyes to reflect his soul and his petness. You
I
know.
like this color actually. It's pretty cool. It's like a yellow, like mustardy or green. Ooh, I like the green.
Billy, yellow eyes are also demon eyes.
No, but
Yeah,
cats
but
do
red's
have
better.
yellow eyes. Like yellow is a real color that
yeah,
cats
that's
have.
why they're demons.
Hey, thank you for reminding me of this. I'm gonna go ahead and look this up. I showed this to Animated Moon last night. But I also showed him there was another one as well. I showed him one that was done of Obama.
One thing I learned about cats this year is that only house cats or like the small cats have these lizard-like eyes. Like if you look at any of the big cats, lions, jaguars, leopards, they all have round pupils. None of the big cats have these lizard-like vertical slits.
Hmm.
You'd
What do you think of? See this?
Ghostbusters too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think of it too.
Your thoughts on this portrait?
I mean, it made the rounds on Twitter. Like people did a mirror flip on it and got Baphomet in the splatches in the background.
Have you seen this umbrella?
I have. Yeah, I just more so glanced at it because I'd seen articles of it. I was like,
This is
move on.
this is our king. He's gonna be on the money soon, unless it goes full digital.
Full blood or flames? Very satanic.
Oh, 100%.
Now, Animated Moon didn't know that what Obamas look like.
Oh, the green hedge, like Homer Simpson one.
Yeah.
That one was even stranger. That one's almost surreal. He's like sitting on a chair, but he's flying. Like the hedge is everywhere around it.
Jesus, I'm misspelling portrait. Fucking me up today. Have you seen this before?
It's surreal.
This is so fucking stupid. You know, he spent like maybe $50,000 on this. Or
No, way more than that. I can't believe it. Spend that little.
Well, he didn't spend it. Taxpayers spend it.
Yeah, the art world is a big money laundering racket as well. You have to understand that.
Like, dude, that's not worth anything. This is shit.
Oh, like I'm not going to dispute that. I'm not going to dispute that.
Look at his hand. Oh my god.
Is this AI?
No.
No, this is before AI.
Oh.
This is what, like 2008?
Yeah, it's got to be like the end of his political presidency, and this is the going out portrait, I guess you get.
Dude, look at that fucking hand. Oh, so it'd been 2012.
Also, like if you're trying to convey a message of like peace and prosperity, this is one of the ugliest and most non-subtle ways to do it.
I mean, it
Well,
represents.
I mean, he is
well.
married to a man. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it
Oh,
represents.
so it was a gift to Michael all along.
Yes. She didn't really like it, so she like tackled him through it, because she's like or he's a linebacker.
Well, see, Michael
Not
dreams
Michael.
of having a bush, and this is closest representation of a bush you can get.
There's also, I guess, you can say there's more symbolism. The president before him was George Bush, and now he's sitting in the bush.
Yeah, and he was. They were all friends.
Jesus, this looks so stupid. Anyways, way too much money spent on really shitty looking portrait.
We should bring down the government's painting budget. I mean,
Oh.
What does the hedge think of that portrait? That's what I want.
Okay. So it does not represent all the hedges,
Herman, is this you? Are you in the Obama portrait? Have you been hiding this from us?
Are y'all about ready for wrap up, or y'all think y'all still want to go a little bit longer?
It depends. Is it a segment where we actually have to wrap? Because I didn't prepare anything.
You don't really have to prepare anything.
Okay. Yeah, no, we can wrap it up. Oh, I just wanted to show you guys something before we do.
All right.
This was
Umbrella
just,
Cat, you wanted to wrap it up in a bit?
this was just
Yeah, probably.
bottled yesterday, so it's a beer
Oh,
to
very
promote.
nice.
It's a beer to promote our Bitcoin meetups. It's called Supply Shock. We did just a few of these, and yeah, so it's basically art I did for the meetup that was put on a beer label, and it looks pretty good.
I really like how it turned out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty.
but Frederick, you got to show the entire piece because we've seen the actual, just the drawing.
I sold the original.
Yeah, but you had a digital scan of it.
Yeah,
Didn't
I
you?
have it in color and everything. Oh, you want to see it on the computer?
Yeah, pull it up. The full drawing as well.
Pull up. Okay, what's the best way to do this?
Matter of fact, I think I still have in our DM chat the
Do you want
ones
me to
that had
send? I'll send it to you on Discord. I think that's probably the best way. To do it. What do you
Go
think?
ahead.
Okay, let's do it.
I know I have the one that just had the flats colors. I think black and white and flat.
Yeah, we did a bunch because we reused it we had the Quebec meetup, the Montreal meetup. Each one had one per month, and then we reused it a couple of times and changed up the colors. So it had time to move around. I think it's in the Retell scan stuff. Illustration, bull run. Oh.
Quack, quack, quack,
Oops. Is this it?
Oh boy.
Mhm.
You know what we're
boy.
gonna do next? We know what you're gonna get Umbrella to do next, Otter.
What's that?
You're gonna do a fat cat, but he has the cowboy hat and stuff and the poncho.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
I thought you were gonna get her to draw the bronze hammer.
No. Trying to get us canceled?
Is that
No,
code for
I
something?
just thought you would do it out of spite, you know?
No.
Oh, that's 19.
Also,
okay.
she has no clue what the bronze hammer is.
I think
Okay, I
told
got
her.
it. I got it. I'm uploading it. Yeah, this page is going to take a long time to ink. Like, it took a long time to draw in the first place, so I'm not surprised. Mostly the prison. A lot of windows.
All right, Umbrella Cat. I'm gonna send you some references for like Clint Eastwood and stuff.
Okay.
Ooh.
and Garfield.
Yeah, we have
You
to
know?
do like a kitty cat Mexican standoff. There you go, Bob.
Meowxican standoff.
Yeah, meow standoff.
There we
Here's
go.
the drawing.
Yeah.
Damn polar bear in the background. These polar bears are having a shit day, by the way.
Yeah.
Really fucking
That's-
shit day.
That's the idea. You know the bull and bear symbolism in the markets?
Mm-hmm.
So the bull takes over, turns into a bull market. The bears are having a hard time, losing their shorts. That's the story.
Fucking Minotaur is just freezing. You know, he lost his nuts during
It's
this ad campaign.
technically a
Sad little
bull,
trade-off.
but yeah, it looks like a minotaur.
The bull lost his nuts, you know,
Well,
for the making of this ad.
first of all, the water is very cold. It's normal when it gets that cold that they shrink. It's biology.
Yeah, his didn't shrink. They fucking turned to ice. You know,
But you're right, it is a minotaur
balls.
because he has hands instead of hoofs.
well, I mean, he looks like a minotaur as well. Just saying.
Yeah.
Look, you can send that to Mike S. Miller and say that's how you fucking draw, bitch. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
I honestly think you could send either the Minotaur with the Bitcoin or just the Baguette cat. Either one to him.
No. You send them the page you're inking right now. You send that to them, and just specifically the chainmail as well. Like you make sure you point out the chainmail.
Yeah. Can the camera see the chain?
There
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Let's focus now.
Look at that chainmail, guys. Ooh, mama. Now there still needs to be shadows added because the underneath the arm it's probably gonna have like a black stripe of shadows, which is gonna hide a few of the rings. But I drew all the fucking rings. And I drew them because Billy Bob is gonna like look at this with a fine tooth comb, and I also knew that there was no more chainmail in the rest of the comic, so I could go all out in this one example, and no one would hold it against me because there's no other instance of chainmail.
Until you introduce the supervillain Chainmail Man.
Yes, but I'm gonna get a chainmail artist assistant by then, an intern, you know.
All right.
Oh, that looks good.
The final touch.
Oh, you got animation. I know it. I'm hallucinating that. Look at the
Did you
smoke.
think the
Look,
smoke was actually
yes.
wiggle?
I saw the smoke wiggle, so
Yes.
it looked good.
I was trying to get it just try. I think that looks fairly good. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was going to add one more thing.
Lemieux.
One more thing, because he still looks just a little dead inside.
You just add some bags under his eyes. He's been on a bender, you know.
Let's
He's
see.
partying all weekend. This is his Monday.
It's the kitty cat life.
Yeah,
love
that's
how
better.
I love how it's that simple to make a character or an animal feel alive just by drawing the lights in their eyes.
Yep. Yeah, the
There-
eyes change everything. Makes it
There's
alive.
actually a clever trick in John Carpenter's The Thing where it's like right before the thing is revealed, where it's like everybody's suspicious of each other. And it's like everybody's looking into the camera, but it's like everybody you it's a subtle detail, but you see the lights in their eyes, except for the one person who is the thing. It's just dead cold. There's no light shining.
Wow.
But there's also a scene. The three people who are actually the thing are all framed in the shot together.
Yeah.
I think it's where they're on the bench. Like right before that, they're all three shot for each other, and also the one dude's missing his earring as well. This is what happens when that movie got like the production of that got delayed, so John Carpenter was just able to add even more to the script than usual.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to get a little delay. You can add more stuff in.
I mean,
Right.
I hate to know that the guy is a fucking commie, but goddamn, like he was one hell of a filmmaker.
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising that Hollywood space is kind of.
It's Hollywood.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, he's not a real commie. He's just oh yeah, I'm totally one, guys. I swear. Yeah, because his movies really don't reflect that at all.
No, I never got anything like messaging from his movies. I don't think.
It's like you could almost sort of get that from like They Live, but even They Live contradicts it in several ways.
And I think having Kurt Russell in your movie cancels out a lot of communism.
Well, They Live doesn't have Kurt Russell; it has Roddy Piper in it.
Yeah, I was thinking of The Thing. Is Kurt Russell's in The Thing, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell's in most, a shit ton of John Carpenter's movies because they're friends.
Yeah, he's a great actor. He can hold a movie up easy.
Like John Carpenter is like, hey, I got this thing called Big Trouble in Little China.
Dude, that is my favorite movie of all time.
It's one of my favorite movies
so
of all
good.
time.
Yeah. It's one of my characters in this book is actually based off of the truck driver role he plays in that movie.
Jack Burton.
Yeah, so I've got an elderly Jack Burton. So I've got Kurt Russell looking truck driver, but he looks more like in Tarantino's winter western. What's it called? The Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
So it's like Kurt Russell that looks in Hateful Eight, but is a truck driver like in Big Trouble in Little China. So that's one of my characters.
I think I freaking hate this line art on this.
Yeah, you should just do the contour. I don't think it's not a big enough contour shape to put black on. Or I would put light.
Let's delete it.
Or just put a little bit of light touches around the contour and it'll look good, I think.
I'm going to do a little bit of line art. Just a little touch here and there. And I think it'll be good.
Make some of those folds in
the face looks great. Like
The
you just get
barrette.
lost in his eyes.
They just stare into your soul.
Like I don't even smoke and I kind of want a cigarette right now. Maybe it's my French ancestry.
Just trying to think on how thin. Probably thinner. Right there. And we'll color the line art after.
Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get this wrapped up. Umbrella Cat. I think I have your link for your channel, which has your links for your Twitter and Instagram. And
Yep.
what else?
I am on Instagram, Twitter, DeviantArt, and YouTube, which I've barely put anything up on so far.
You're
All
also
under
open
Umbrella
for
Cat.
commission.
Do what?
You're also open for commission.
Yes.
Frederick Gaumont.
I am also open up for commissions, but maybe not this month. I think I might be booked. imakecomics.com is the website. It'll take you to the landing page. I will update this week. My website is coming out, like a new update. And I told you guys about my progress bars, right? I'm going to have a page with every step of the comic listed with a progress bar showing you where I'm at so you can keep an eye on it. I think every indie developer should have that for their project.
You know what's going to really piss people off?
What is?
When they see you go from, like 40% back down to like 39. I'm like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I decided
Disaster.
I'm adding 4 more pages, so I'm like back down 3%. Yeah, no, I thought about that as well. That's funny. So I'm pretty much working on this full time, and really stoked to be inking on it. Like I'll have the campaign out in the next month. Like shortly after the website, I'll prepare the campaign on Fund My Comic and Geyser. So Geyser is for the Bitcoiners. They can actually do a crowdfunding for stuff using their Bitcoin. So that's going to be available for them, and for people who use, American dollars, they'll be able to go through Fund My Comic like other independent artists do.
Right. And I got your YouTube, which also has the link to your website and stuff. Because until I have to like do a verification, even had like outside links on the channel. But you'll also be doing streams eventually.
Yes.
Right?
So I'm getting ready to do streams. I've got all the material to do it physically. Obviously, I've been streaming on other people's channels, but I've picked out my theme song. It's going to be so fucking rad. I'm going to take an excerpt of the Rambo theme song from the Commodore 64 game specifically.
Upload a small clip of it to make sure you're not going to get copyright hit on it during your streams.
Okay. Well, it's really old and it's kind of 8-bit, so I think the chances are good. But yeah, I'll do that to be safe.
Otter.
Well, I don't have any artwork that I've made myself, but I have a book that has plenty of artwork in it. Well, none of it no artwork that's commercial anyway.
That's not true. It was sold in my book.
I mean, anyway, do you like swords and
no. We're not getting away from this.
God damn.
Sure.
Try to sidestep around it, but you just dove right into it, didn't you? Fucking hell,
So anyways,
man.
go ahead and share your book.
So, do you like athletic tits? I do too. Do you like swords and sorcery? I do too. I like fantasy. I like writing fantasy. I have a fantasy book called The Curse of the Star Raids, the first in a saga called Steel and Stormbright. It's a tale about brotherhood, weird magic, cosmic ghosts, and yes, athletic tits. If you want to check it out, you can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all the major retailers. I also have a Substack called Downstream Pulp you can check out.
Also, you're free to sue them if there's no athletic tits drawing in their copies,
It'll be a class action suit.
Yeah.
That's right, you're covered. There were no athletic tits in this novel.
Oh, boy. Well, time to play the goodbye clip and then wrap up.
The sun has gone to bed, and so must I. So long, farewell. Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
See you later, everybody.
Good night.
Boobs.
Good night.